Hello everyone and welcome back to the 29th Abu Dhabi Chess Festival, to the round 6 already. And one more time I want to remind you that the tournament is being held in the capital of the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, from 14th of August until 24th of August. And the games are warming up. We have two players who have 4.5 points out of 5, and we have many players with the 4 points. And on the first board, we have a very interesting game happening today. Fedoseev playing against Artemiev, and Fedoseev has currently 4.5 points, and Artemiev has 4 points. And the game started with d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, g3, bishop b4, and bishop e7. Most probably b6 will be played, and it's going to be a queen's, it's going to convert to the queen's Indian. We are still waiting for the moves. We're just in the openings of the tournament. Let's just get to know what boards are being played and who is playing on which board. On the second board, we have the second leader, Xiu Xianju, against Aryan Chopra. And here we have everything developing way faster than on the first board, we can say. c4, c6, d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, queen b3, captures, takes, bishop f5, g3, e6, bishop g2, knight bd7. And white captured with the a-pawn. What would happen if white doesn't want to get a double pawns and captures with the knight? Well, it is possible, but let's see what the theory says. The theory says that white has to take with the a-pawn, and apparently after the pawn captures with the a-pawn, the a7 pawn is going always to be hanging, and when black will try to play a6, it will weaken the square on b6, and knight a4, even knight a5 later will be possible to attack the pawn on b7. Well, after a takes on b3, black is still thinking, and bishop c2 was played. After bishop c2, white has to make a choice. This knight is stuck on d2 because it has to be protecting the pawn on b3. The only way to push this bishop out from the c2 square is knight e2, and after the bishop goes back, then the knight on the pawn on b3 is going to be a safe pawn. The other possibility might be to play rook e1 with the idea of e4 and taking control over the center. What happens after rook e1? Is knight e4 possible? Let's say if black will try to play castle, white can play e4. Trying to take the center. After bishop c2, most probably we'll see knight e1 happening, because this bishop is very disturbing on the square of c2. And we can move to the third board, where Aravinst is playing against Abisalimov. And let's very quickly go through the opening. And we have French opening. The exchange variation, knight f3, bishop d6, bishop d3, knight e7, castle, castle, rook e1, knight bc6, and c3, bishop f5, and bishop g5. And we can see that both sides were ready to play this opening. After bishop g5, f6 is the possible move, just to push the bishop back. Let's say bishop h4, and after bishop h4, black can just play queen d7, going out with the pieces normally. Rook e8 will be coming up. This bishop has to decide what to do, and most probably bishop g3 is the main square for it. Rook a e8, and after rook a8, white can exchange the bishops. Well, we have bishop g5, and f6 was played in the game. Bishop h4 will be following up, and queen d7 most probably, because the players are still in the opening. Yes, bishop h4 was played, And we can move to the board number 4, where Atahan Aptin is playing against Lu Shanglei. And we have already a middle end game. We have Queen's Gambit and Catalan. We have another Catalan, c5. Queen's Gambit, this looks more of a position like a Queen's Gambit accepted variation, knight c6, but like captures, bishop c5, and knight d2. After knight d2, c3 was played. This is still a theory. Pawn captures, castle, knight b3, bishop e7, knight fd4, and bishop d7. And now it is white's turn. Knight c6 was taken. What is the theory? Bishop has to capture on c6. White can capture, and c4. c4 is the move here. After c4, a5, and still a theory. Both of them know the theory. It's a good prep from both of them. There are no surprises for any of the players, we can say. And we can come back to see what happened here. But after, let's move to the board. Yes, c4 was played. Most probably a5 will be played, because this is the theory. And we can move to the board number 5, where Rathanvel is playing against Pranav. And let's see what happened here. We have Caro-Kann. Now with an advanced variation, knight b3, knight d7, knight f3, and a6. And let's check what is the theory saying. Here white has to play bishop e2 and a6. a6 is not a very common move. Usually black plays here knight e7, and after knight e7, bishop e2, h6, castle, g5, and black starts an attack, but black decided to play with the move a6. What shall white play here? Yes, bishop e2. But what's the idea of black? What is the point of playing a6? Maybe for playing c5, so that white cannot capture, and play bishop b5. This is the main idea of a6. So a6, and white is thinking most probably bishop e2 will be played, followed by c5, maybe c3, and this is going to transform the typical Caro-Kann positions. Let's go to the board number 7 to see if there are any interesting positions. Okay, we have Chanda against Matlakov, and d4, knight f6. We have Nimzo Indian. Yes. Everything is a theory. Players are playing quite fast. Knight c3 was taken. B takes on c3, d6, knight g3, and g6. Is it worth to weaken the king's position with the move of g6? Or not really, but what else can black play? What will happen after just knight d7? Because g6 can get under kind of an attacks of h4, but okay, black for now can easily block these kind of an attempts of the attacks, but g6, bishop e2 was played. And there is a chance that white will play h4 at some point. Okay, and we can go to the board number 8. and it takes on c5. Well, white has a big choice here. Can even push to d5 or capture or play bishop g2. But it takes on c5, and here black has a choice. One of them has to be queen a5 check, capturing the pawn, and will be followed by e4, bishop e3, and yeah, okay, queen e5, a5 is one of the moves, and the other move has to be knight a6. Just trying to capture the pawn. And it's a choice of white. They want to protect it or no. Let me check if there will be any other moves. There is also bishop g7, but queen a5 looks to be the main move. Knight c3, queen captures on c5, and e4. Yes. So this is the line. d6, bishop e3, queen c7, and Eval Bar likes the black's position, but it's not very easy to play with the black pieces. So black is making a decision now, and he's thinking. Most probably he wasn't expecting to have the d takes on c5, but it's a typical move, and white made a choice to take it. Suleimanov thought for a while and captured the pawn on c5. And on the board number 9 we have Madaminov against Santos. Everything is developing faster. There were already quite a few exchanges in the position. Bishop g5, before rook c1, h6. And Grandmaster from Spain is playing quite fast. Bishop f6, queen f6, a3, bishop c3 has to be played, rook c3 castle, bishop d3, and rook e8. And this is our current position, where we can say that basically pawn on d4 is not hanging, because every time there is bishop h7, but of course it looks very natural to go out with a knight with the white pieces. The thing is where, because after knight f3 there might be a move bishop g4, and this pin might be very unpleasant for the white. But also white can try to build some battery on the b1 and h7 diagonal. So let's see how it's going to continue. And by the way, we have, let's check what happened on the first board. We can see in the video that the game just finished, and the game finished in a draw. It was a very fast game. We will see what happened in the game very soon. Bishop f4, castle, castle. Okay, I think we have the first result of the game. Of course, after yesterday's game, Fedosiev's game, it's very difficult to play today, because yesterday's game was really crazy, and after such a game with a lot of tactical opportunities, with a lot of missed opportunities from both sides, we can say, and especially from the white side, I managed to have a little chat with the Fedosiev yesterday after their game, and he was offering the line of a queen sacrifice. Maybe I can very, very quickly show you what he was saying. He said that most probably he had to go to this line. Let me start again. So, okay, this was the game, and here Fedosiev said that maybe it would just be easier to take the bishop, and after knight e7 he was offering here to take queen h6, rook h6, and rook h6 with a threat of g5, capturing the knight, and there's knight eg8, rook h4, and basically white has a rook and the bishop against the rook, bishop, and let me very quickly calculate how many pawns, 3 pawns against the queen. And he said that this would be much easier for him to play in this position, and Eval Bar actually believes in it. We didn't check this line yesterday, but he saw this line, and later he regretted not going for it. Okay, back to our today's game. On the second board, what happened here after 91? Black is not scared at all. Black played bishop d1 and attacking e2 pawn, and after bishop f3 there is knight d5. And it's not a very common thing to see this kind of the opponent's bishop in the final rank of the other side of the board, and it's just standing comfortably and no one can even attack it. This bishop, it looks quite a nice bishop, but what happens? Can white play e4 here? After e4, probably the black's idea is, okay, black already has to capture the bishop. White will capture with one of the knights, maybe with the knight on d2, and now white controls the center. Eval Bar still believes that black's position is better, most probably because of these 2 pawns, b3 and b2. Before, let's say knight b4, what will happen? Bishop d2. Let's continue a few more moves. Can black just go for a castle here? Yeah, still not easy to play with these double pawns, but it's white's choice, and yeah. Oh, board number 3 is really in a hurry. Let's see what is happening here. So it was the exchanged French variation, and bishop knight e7, castle, bishop rook e1, bishop f5, bishop g5, f6, bishop h4, queen d7, as we predicted, bishop g3, rook e8, white captured, queen captured, everything was exchanged, and another rook was exchanged. Looks like soon the queens, another rooks were exchanged, the queens are exchanged. Looks like both players are going for a draw because this position is very drawish, and both of them are playing very fast. So looks like we're going to have a fast draw on this board too. And the board number 4. Bishop e3. Yeah, this is, I think the theory just finished, and white is playing very fast. White is playing super fast. I would like to check the game of a player on the board number 13, Vas Isan, a very young, talented chess player from India. He's playing with the white pieces today. Yesterday he managed to draw with the strong grandmaster Murzin. And one more time I would like to invite you that Vas Ethan is only 12 years old. Okay, we have Alapin. This is still a variation. But we can see that Ethan is spending quite some time here, and black is playing very fast. Black didn't spend any of the minute. Any of the minute was used here. Well, let's see what's going to happen in this game, because I would like to follow the young prodigies to see what is happening there. One more time for our viewers, if you will have any game that you would like to follow, just let me know. And by the way, earlier I was following the World Cup, and What is happening there? And Salimova missed a chance to win in a winning position, and also Caruana missed a very nice opportunity to win the game, which was a little bit harder. But I'm sure we have the round 2 right now, and I didn't manage to follow the round 2. So if someone is following, you can let me know to see what is happening there. Let's check for some interesting games, some positions to see what we can find. Okay. Babazada is playing against Vohidov, and let's see what happened here. And f5. White is not in a hurry to do the en passant, but after captures, what happens? Knight f5. Is there a move like f5? And where is the white king going to do a castle? On the long side or on the short side? And black player with the black pieces, Volkhidov, he has 1 hour and 33 minutes, and the international master from Azerbaijan spent quite some time already. Okay, I think we'll be back to this game. Let's just continue checking the games to see where we can find some interesting games. And unfortunately, the UAE national hero Saleh Marsaleh, he left the tournament, and of course he was giving another taste to the tournament, but okay, it's understandable because right after World Cup he started playing here, and it's not easy to recover after such a knockout tournament, physically and mentally. It's not very easy. And on the board 14 we have Hans Niemann against Gholami. And Hans Niemann lost yesterday with the black pieces, and it was not the best game of his life, we can say, but well, he tried to do some interesting ideas, but we've seen better games and better analysis. And earlier he missed a winning position, and especially when you're missing a winning position and then you go and you finish in a draw, it's not easy to recover the next day, because somehow you start blaming yourself, why I didn't see this, why it didn't happen in the game. But in fact, sometimes it just needs to be moved on, because the tournaments are very long. Okay, on the 15th board we have Narayanan against Nitish, and nothing is special happening yet. Well, everywhere we have the opening happening. And Sochko Bartosz, okay. Sochko Bartosz looks like still in his prep, and we can go quickly through the opening to see why he's still in his preparation. Najdorf. White sacrificed the pawn, but okay, took it back. Is it usually this kind of pawns are poisoned, but maybe not this one. The bishop, like in the other game where the bishop is on d1, and it's quite comfortable. This bishop on a7 is feeling now itself comfortable. No one is attacking it, and of course it follows with the a4 castle, and most probably a5 will happen very soon. Yeah. Okay, shall we go back? On the first board we have some more new moves, but okay, the game already finished. And let's see what happened in the bishop d1 position. Bishop f3 and knight d5, nothing changed yet. And I was offering the move e4 to exchange the bishops, but maybe white is trying to somehow trap this bishop. But how? For trapping this bishop needs to go out. And if this bishop needs to go out, this knight needs to go out. But this knight is protecting the pawn on b3. So this rook is no way that it is attacking the bishop. And for attacking with the f rook, then we have the knight on e1. And we have to move. The moment we move the knight, there is bishop c2. But is there a... And bishop e4 doesn't work because e2 is always working. Let's say trying to convert the bishop to d3 square. It's still not gonna work. Okay. The bishop on d1 is located really very comfortably. Okay, let's see what happened in the Matlakov game. Matlakov is playing a very aggressive and fighting chess in this tournament. Yesterday also, all his game was very fighting and very interesting. f5. So let's just go again. g6 move was played, bishop e2 and f5. So the idea of g6 is to push f5. Maybe then the knight will come to f6. And f5 pawn will be controlling more squares in the center. What to play with white? I mean, black's idea is very clear. Knight comes to d7, knight comes to f6. Is this move h4 working now or not really? My idea is to somehow again push this pawn to h5, trying to open the king side. But while opening the king side, we shouldn't forget that our king is stuck in the center, and okay, by the way, we have two results already on the board. Number first, Fedosiev against Artemiev, and it ended in a draw. And board number 3, Aravins against Abdisalimov, the game also ended in a draw. And on the first and the third board, these draws. Of course, it's a good choice sometimes to take a little rest in between a long tournament, because half of the tournament is already behind, and the players need to recover their energy to come back for the last decisive 3 rounds. And it's pretty understandable that it's an interesting strategy for the tournaments, on long-term tournaments. Rook c8. Black didn't play c5. Black is still preparing the c5. Okay, let's go back to the game of Matlakov. And let's see what happened. f5 was played, and what happens after h4? Can black play h5 just to stop this pawn? And if white is managing, is there some interesting ideas just to go for the sacrifice and then trying to bring the rook to attack the king? Evalbard doesn't believe in it, but still looks interesting. Maybe just queen f6 will be played, or even bishop c8. Yeah, after bishop c8, the knight will have to go back, and none of the pieces is joining the attack. Is rook h3 possible here? Trying to bring the rook to g3. Still liking this active play, but let's see. Black is playing quite active, and it depends from the white's game if they will play h4 or no. Okay, let's move forward. Board number second. And here too, here we don't have any moves happening yet. Board number 4. Today's games are going very, very calmly, we can say. Nothing crazy is happening. I would like to start from the... Okay, f3 was played. The position looks quite equal. We have Adivan playing here with the white pieces against the Movahed Sina. And h4. You see, so many h4s are happening lately. Okay, we have the King's Indian. And h4. Opposite-sided castles. Each side is trying to attack faster. And we know that whoever will be faster will most probably win the game. And after h4, what is happening? Can black just capture on c4, let's say, with the pawn? Or h5 will be played and, let's say, try to... How to create the attack in these kind of positions. By the way, b4 is also possible. Knight c4 is possible. After h4, knight c4 looks... black played c6. But let's see what will happen after knight c4. Bishop c4 has to be played, most probably captures, and h5 right away, trying to open the h-file to bring the pieces to create some checkmating ideas. c6. What happens after h5? Black definitely will not capture. Can it be now played knight c4? Takes. Let's say takes. And here black has to choose with which pawn to take on g6. Let's say with the f pawn, trying to open a window for the king on f7 and keep the h7, and g4 will be coming up. And after g4, maybe g5. It's harder for black to create an attack, we can say it. It's not easy to see a breakthrough point. Okay, well, h5, one more time. Is there a move g5 here? And the next move h6, or it doesn't work? Let's say knight h3. Yeah, it shouldn't work because h6 has to be played. And is there a bishop g5 maybe? Captures, and with the idea of h6, but maybe just king h7, and let's say after h6, bishop h8. Oh, but there is bishop d3. And e5 is a terrible threat, very dangerous threat. Well, Adiban is calculating, but I still expect to see h5 in this position. One more time for our viewers, if you will have any board that you would like to check out, please let me know. We can check the game of Asaubayeva against Sharmayush. E4, knight h4, rook e8, knight d5, bishop c5, captures knight e5, queen c2 and c6. Okay, and now it's white to play. The knight has many options. And capturing on f6 looks one of them. c6, or maybe just to keep the knights, like knight c3, and later if white will want to exchange, maybe just to bring the knight to e4. All options look good for white, but one of them has to be better. Let's say capture, and bishop d2, transforming the bishop to c3, trying to control the diagonal. This might be one of the options. Also, knight e3 looks completely fine, trying to transform the knight to f5 square. Okay, Asaubayeva will take her time to make a decision here. Knight f6 looks quite good. And okay, we didn't check Kobalya Mikhail's game since the previous crazy game where he was winning and then somehow he lost. London system. We have the London system with bishop g4, c3, queen b3, queen c8, knight e5, and pawn captures. So there are a few moves. Knight d7, there is c4, maybe more moves. But knight h5 cannot be played because bishop b5. So black has first of all to stop this bishop from entering to b5 square. Maybe it's better to start with the c4 and later play knight d7. Then the pieces will go out. Also, the c4 move is stopping bishop from developing on d3 square. Let's check what happened in the Matlakov's game. Knight d7. No, white didn't play h4. White didn't want to play h4. I was trying to force that, to convince that h4 might be working, but apparently it doesn't. And white chooses to play a calmer game. Castle, knight d7. And yeah, knight wants to come to f6, forcing white to play c6 to protect the pawn. But maybe even knight e5 might be possible at some point, because why not? If white wants to stop knight e5, they have to play f4, and e3 is always a weakness. On the second board, we still don't have a game of a move after knight d5, and yeah, I mean, what to play? Looks like we're going to have another. White is trying to get an advantage somehow, but these double pawns are a problem, and this d1 bishop somehow doesn't hang, and what to do? Okay, there's a chance there will be another draw on the second board, we can say. Let's move to the board number 4. Yes, the Catalan line. Bishop c5, knight d2, c3. Yeah, everything was a theory here. And it was a nice prep from both sides, especially from white. And this is our current position, where white spent a little time, and Chinese grandmaster is using his time quite somehow. Knight c2. What is this endgame? Well, none of them has any weakness. But the knight is somehow not in the right place. Where is the right place for the knight? Maybe to transform it to e6 would be a better idea. Like, let's say here knight e8, knight g7. Or even h3, just blocking this a2 pawn with the ideas of rook b8. Rook b8 is also possible. Black has a lot of choices here, and maybe white is prepared, but it's not that easy to play with the white pieces. Well, knight d8 would not work because there is always rook d7 move. Okay, let's say what happens after rook b8. Of course, white is not going to capture this. Maybe bishop g5 is possible, or f4. Yeah, one of them is possible. Okay, let's go to the board number 5. And bishop d2 was played. Black's position is so squeezed, and there is no space, and white is controlling the center, but black has to play c5 at some point. Maybe this is the moment to play c5. But after c5, white is just playing c3, connecting the pawn chain of the 4 pawns. And maybe c4, the knight will have to go to c1, which is also squeezing the white's position on the queen side. So bishop d2 was played. Maybe g5 is an opportunity also. Karokan players will be saying it better, but c5 has to be played at some point, like maybe even c5, c3, knight c6. Black has to try to attack the center, otherwise it will be very hard. Okay, we can move to the board number 6. Let's see what happened here. And queen h5. Anton Guerrero against Lidi. Two grandmasters fighting. And queen h5, let's say knight c3 is up. Is not possible because it will be followed by knight d4. And after capturing, there will be a checkmate. So after queen h5, black has a concrete threat to play knight d4 or knight e5. And white will have to make a choice. Maybe h3 is the move here, just to stop all these attacks on h2, because this looks very powerful. H3 looks quite good. Let's say h3, rook d8, bishop b3. And there's always knight e5. And but after knight e5, white can just play knight d4, because otherwise white will get doubled pawns, and I'm pretty sure white doesn't want it. So after queen h5, black has some threats, but it's white to play, and white can easily stop all of them. So we'll be back to see what happened in this game. And okay, we check this one. What is happening on the board number 5? I think we lost the game there. And Sindarov Suleymanov, let's see what happened in the game. This is going to be an interesting game. D captured on c5, and after that black played queen a5, knight c3, and bishop g7, not capturing on c5. Black is not in a hurry. Knight c6, bishop d2, and now, just now, black had to already capture on c5, because otherwise knight b5 or d5 is already a threat. So queen c5 and rook c1. And rook c1. Of course, queen c4 is not hanging because there is knight d5 move, opening the rook, attacking the queen. And after this, also knight c7 is the next threat here. And, well, as I said earlier, these positions, maybe Eval Bar thinks it's equal, but it's quite not easy to play with the black pieces because bishop e3 is an idea. Queen is always hanging. When we go out so early with the queen is always going to be under attack. And this is the position. See what happened on the second board. Okay, after knight d5, white played knight g2, bishop c2, knight e1, and looks like they are repeating the moves. We're going to have another draw on the second board. We are going to have another draw on the second board. Okay, knight cb8 was played after knight c2. Black decided to go knight cb8, Li Shangli against Atahan Aptin. Rook cb8 and, well, as white has to keep the rook on b1 because otherwise losing b file will be crucial for the white. If the rook will manage to enter to b2, it will be crucial. But now black's idea is to play a3 and rook b2. And after capturing, black's pawn will get more and more closer to becoming a queen. So what shall white play here? It's not easy to play. Let's say king f2. Can I play just a3 with the idea of rook b2? Yes, it is going to happen. And not easy to play with the white pieces because the knight is standing in a perfect square, the bishop is in the place, rook is in the place, the other rook is in the place, all pieces are in the place. But what to do? Maybe bishop d2 and bishop c3. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have the draw on the second board. Yes. Board number 9 in the Matlakov's game was played knight d7 and c4. And now black is deciding where to put the knight, e5 or f6. Or maybe even try to... Is there a b5 possibility here? Let's say captures, knight f6 or knight b6. But after knight f6, white can still hold this pawn with the move bishop f3 and black will just lose a pawn. But b5 was just an idea. Maybe start with a6, trying to push it, but a6, a4 is always possible. And what happens after c4, let's say knight e5? where to put the queen, queen d2 or queen c2. If I put queen c2, then black is going to play b5. And at some point the bishop will open up, and the moment when the black's bishop will become this powerful piece, black might win the game. So after c4, knight e5, white will have to play queen d2. There's also some ideas like queen h4, but the bishop is very well located on the e2 square, protecting the square on g4 from knight's entrance. But what did white do wrong to get in here? I mean, it's not like black has an advantage, but it looks very comfortable to play with the black pieces. So knight e5. Knight e5 looks quite good for the black now. And let's see what happened in the game of Adiban versus Movahed Sina, and h5 was played in the game. So h4, c6, h5, b4, and knight a4. Queen c7, and white is thinking, yes, it's so much easier to break through with the white pieces, but okay, what was the black's mistake? What black has to play after h5? Okay, we're offering g5, knight h3, knight h3 and h6. And here sacrifices on g5 were not working, or maybe they will, but apparently after g5 white has also another move to play h6. And after capturing on f4, white can just take the bishop on g7 and white's position is winning. So h5, b4 was played. But what about g5, h6 and bishop h8? Well, after knight h5 or knight h3, white will have a big advantage. Okay, so after h5, b4 was played, knight a4 and queen c7. And how to continue with the white pieces? g4 probably. g4 looks very logical. The other opportunity will be to capture on g6. And black will have to capture probably with the f-pawn, and maybe now g4. With the idea of g5, queen h7, trying to win the pawn, this looks like a very favorable advantage for the white. Okay, let's see what is happening on the board number 2. And they are repeating the position, and we're going to have another draw on the board 2 very soon. And for now, we can go to our first break, and we will be back very soon. Don't go anywhere. The games are just heating up, and see you soon after a very short break. Welcome back, and we are continuing the 6th round of the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival 2023. And we have another result on the top board, second board. As predicted, it ended in a draw also because they just repeated the moves, and this bishop on d1 somehow was not trapped at all. There was no way to trap it. And we have already 3 draws on the top 3 boards. And I was checking a few games here on the board number 4 after rook ab1, rook cb8, knight e1, and black played e4, which allows white to play bishop f4. But if not to play a4, then knight d3 is a nice transformation of the piece. So e4 was played, and bishop f4. After bishop f4, black is forced to exchange one of the rooks, because otherwise white's both rooks will be controlling the only open files. So black captures the rook, white will have to capture the rook, and we're going to have this position where a rook can come to d8 trying to control the d file. And also this position looks very drawish. But the players will continue playing, and after e4, the game still continues. But bishop f4 looks very natural in this position. On the board number 5, we don't have the board number 5. It somehow doesn't work because we have the same as. Yeah. We don't have board number 5. We have the board number 5. In fact, the position that you're seeing is being played on the board number 5 between Atakan, Aptin, and Pranav. And on the board number 4, it is going. I saw the position in the playing hall. It was the knight's endgame, and it also looked drawish. We are going to have, after yesterday's so many fighting games, we're going to have so many peaceful games today. And let's go back to the board number 6 also. Knight a5 was played, and yeah, h6, bishop d2, bishop h7, and knight a5. But black didn't play c5. Black was somehow afraid of playing c5. It's hard for me to say why, but black didn't want to, and maybe white can just take on c5. Let's say capture, capture, capture. Rook will have to capture, and it will be followed maybe bishop e3, because e5 pawn is very, very safe. Maybe b3 is possible here, trying to bring the bishop on a3. And hello, Rookie. Oh, I'm blundering bishop c2, so white has to protect the pawn on c2 first. c3 has to be played. And black didn't play the c5, so this is our current position. b7 is hanging, knight on a5 is very safe. If black will try to play b6, trying to push this knight away, then it will weaken this pawn on a6, and the bishop will be attacking it. But black's position is very passive, but white spent more time. Okay, let's go to the board number 7. We have the same position on the board number 6 and 7 apparently also. Okay, let's go to the D-list position, queen h5, after which black was threatening knight d4, and apparently h3 is the only move. Rook a8, queen d1, h6, and knight c3 was played. We have to note that black has 30 minutes less than Anton Guerrero, and lead D is behind in time. And apparently all the threats are already behind. Is there a move like knight e5 here, maybe trying to, if white will capture, queen will capture, and there will still be some threats on the h2 square, trying to create the battery, but it will be stopped easily even after f4. But Knight c3, knight e5, white doesn't have to capture on e5, and maybe even simple knight d4 will be possible to play. But after knight d4 there will be queen g6, and is there some interesting tactical opportunities here, or just no? I'm just trying to take the bishop. Knight db5 is possible. Okay, let's go back to the board number 9, because I saw a few moves on the chessboard there. After c4, black didn't play knight e5. Black played f4. First decided to exchange this pawn. Yes, World Cup can't stay as calm as it is in Abu Dhabi today. It's very peaceful. And I saw the World Cup women results, and okay, the first round we saw that Salimova was completely winning, and then she managed to draw Alexandra Garyashkina, and of course congratulations Alexandra Garyashkina for winning the Women's World Cup, which is a huge success, of course. And I saw the round 3 game between Caruana and Pragnananda during my break time, and now I don't know what is happening there. Maybe our viewers can tell me what is happening in the World Cup, as we are having a quite peaceful day in Abu Dhabi festival. Yeah, it was sadness for Salimova. Of course, missing such opportunities, like when you know you're so close to be a winner of the Women's World Cup and missing it twice, it's very sad. But it happened still. She showed a very brilliant chess, brilliant. All in all, her performance was amazing. Oh, Prague won. Pragnananda won. Okay, Prague won. Prague was losing the first round against Caruana. That one I saw, and then Caruana missed the chance. Okay, as we are having a very interesting game in the day in the World Cup, but still, let's continue our festival, because here we're also having a very interesting fight and games. So, Rook f7, f5 was played. Let's see again why black didn't capture on f4, and why all in all white played f5. Well, black had to play f4, otherwise white will play e4 very soon. And if white manages to play the e4, okay, maybe f4 will be played. So white's idea is to play f4 and then e4, and that's why c4, f4 captures rook f7, f5, and here black captured rook f5. I feel like something is wrong in this position. Looks like in the game it was in fact played f4 captures and rook f4. Yeah, this was the position, and well, this is not the right position for us. I'm pretty sure about it. In the game it was played f4 captures, rook f4 was played, queen e3, queen f6, and this is a position. So basically we are having a wrong position right now. And Matlakov, as I said, decided to play f4. Let's go to the game between Suleimanov and Sindarov, and exactly these positions after queen c5 is not very easy to play, and we can see even the time difference between the players. White has a huge time advantage, as it is not really easy to play with the black pieces. After rook c1, castle was played, b3 and d6, and it's currently a white's move. The queen looks to be in a very dangerous position, but how to attack it? Maybe knight a4 is a possibility, but there is always queen h5 or queen e5 trying to escape. and queen is somehow not trapped. Even queen a3 might be possible. This kind of moves when you feel like you have to somehow trap the queen, but it doesn't work out, then these pieces become very annoying during the games, throughout the game. So queen a3, bishop c3, maybe white will still try to trap the queen, but is it going to work out? Not really, not really. Okay, let's say rook d8. Can white just start with king f1? Because after bishop b2, there is always queen b4 check. And white has a draw at least. Bishop c3, queen a3, if white will want to repeat, but I don't think that this is the white's plan for now in this position after the queen's trip throughout the board. The white is still thinking, is there any other way to attack the queen? Maybe it's to start with bishop e3, but then it will again be queen b4. Or just go out with the pieces normally and try to develop everything, do the castle, and then we'll attack the queen later. So knight f3 is a possibility also. Just to play a calm game. Sooner or later the queen will be under attacks. Only 9 moves made, and black is already less than 40 minutes. Let's check Adiban's game. On the board number 21, it was a very interesting game happening, and after h5, black played b4, knight a4, queen c7, and c5 was a really strong move. Just stops all the black's attempts to create any kind of an attack. Captures, captures, rook d8, captures, captures, and e5. Knight d5 was played, and well, white was already faster in the breaking through in the black's king side, but how to continue? And h-file is of course very well dominated by the rook on h1. Somehow white shall try to bring the queen to the h-file, but how to do it? Right now, black wants to take the bishop. e6 was played. What happens if knight e3 doesn't work right now, because the pawn will just capture on f7, and after king f7, just queen e3, and the king will be even more exploded. So e6, maybe there is an opportunity to play. The f pawn cannot move because g6 is always hanging. So what to do with the black pieces? What to play with the black pieces? f5 is untouchable. White wants to take it. Is there a move like b3? Because white cannot capture it. Black wants to take the pawn on a2, but maybe just a3 or a4 and stopping again the black's attempts to create any kind of a breakthrough in the queen side. e6, white's advantage is very, very big here. White was just a little bit faster after a move like h4, and after h4 just h5, and white opened up all the king side. And e6, was e6 actually necessary? Was there any other move? Maybe just g4. This was what was in my mind, trying to bring queen h2 right away. But if knight e3, just capture queen e3, and later I'm gonna bring the queen to the h-file. How to stop with the black pieces? b3 looks to be the only move, but a3 is just blocking all the attacks on the queen side. So yeah, it's a big advantage. We're gonna most probably have a decisive result in this game, even after e6. Okay. Shall we check the 12 years old prodigy from India, Vas Isan? who is showing a very, very great chess in this tournament. He's only 12 years old and already rated more than 2300, and in this tournament he's just beating or drawing against very strong grandmasters. And let's say after rook c1, what happened here? Yeah, we stopped at this position. K1, knight f5, bishop e5. And we have a guest in our room. We'll go for a very, very short break, and then we'll be back with the international master Ravi Kumar in our studio. See you soon. Don't go anywhere. We are continuing the stream very soon. Everyone, and we have a very special guest in the studio, International Master Ravi Kumar. Thank you, Ravi, for joining me today. And how are you? Have you been in the playing hall?
Yeah, I've been visiting and enjoying all the games. I believe today was some quick draws. I think it is the, we are going into the final 3 rounds, and so, it's natural some grandmaster want to just have a rest day and before they're ready battle. And you were talking about Ethan Boss, and I can see here that, White has some issues. Okay, I think main thing is the knight on d5 for black is like the most important piece. And whereas the white knight on f3, I don't think it's doing anything.
Yeah.
And also you have the second knight on f5, which is really good. And well, I think that, black may be planning to trade some pieces, like rook c8, and, just go to the end game, or I think that I won't be surprised even if he went like some g5, h5, because he's controlling the position really nicely. What do you think?
Yes, and let's not forget that he's playing against the grandmaster, Song Raymond, and really, this isolated pawn on d4 is very well blocked by the black's knight. The knights are dominating. Well, white is controlling the c file, which is an open file, but what is this giving right now? It's not going to be an easy fight for Vas Isen, and also his time is...
It's very
lack of time comparing to his opponent.
As you see, like in the modern grandmaster play, the time pressure makes a really big thing. And as you correctly pointed out, that's going to be a big factor. And also, I think, the a7 pawn is kind of weak. Yeah. And I think that how he's going to solve this problem, I think that he has to maybe play a6, because that, and I think that I don't see a way for him to do anything in the middle of the game or on the, so he has to start something on the, because his knight on f5 is really well placed. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he started that, but I think at the moment it looks like white has doubled. That's the white played rook c5, and we're waiting for black to make a move.
Yeah. And here, as you mentioned, black's rook is not entering to the game yet because it has to be staying here and guarding the a7 pawn.
Yeah.
But is there a chance that actually it's possible to play like rook d8 here now? Because after rook d8, queen a7, maybe some tricky lines.
Yeah, rook a8 to trap and all. But I think even if you play rook d8, you know, I think, and you know, we can say that the bishop on g3 is not at all happy. I think usually if you had a bishop, it makes sense. And this is now turning out to be like a good knight against a bad bishop.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, this knight on d5 is the monster knight, I would say that. You know, he's got it very well placed, and I think I think it looks very interesting. As you pointed out, he's got less time. Well, I think his opponent got more time, more than an hour and 70 minutes. Yeah.
Well, more than a 50 minutes difference in time.
Yeah.
And shall we go to check any other game? Do you have any preferences to go through?
The game you were analyzing with something on e6, that looked very interesting.
That was Adiban's game, and we can go back to his game.
Sure.
And
I think he has played e6, hasn't he?
Yeah, he played e6, and black played b3, and white just played a3.
a3, okay.
And what to do? Black's position is just
black's position is
collapsing.
Yeah, I think what black should be hoping is that if there is something, you know, if like the pawn on e6 takes f7, then even then I feel that the black's position is not doing anything great, and he's got nothing on the queen side, you know.
Yeah. Nothing is happening here, and white is just attacking on the king side. And black cannot even stop it. White just has to do a few accurate moves, and then after exploding the king, it's going to be end very soon. Yeah,
everything went wrong, like you pointed out, when there was a c5 move. Yeah, you know, that was the critical move, and I think that in some very traditional books they discourage b5, b4 because of this kind of a bind. Yeah. And from this point, I think that Adiban got the edge. And I think even if he doesn't capture also, there's a big attack coming on the king side. Yeah. And you know, I don't envy black's position. He's got no counterplay. He's waiting, and you know, white's got this terrific bind. Other day I was speaking to Adiban about, you know, and he said that he's got a whole month to get ready, prepare before the Qatar Masters in October. So it was really like an eye-opener for me that he says that he needs some period where he needs to just prepare. Yeah. And
so he's going to take a break after this tournament. And,
I think he said he's got month of September to kind of unwind and, you know.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
but he's here, he's playing, and
yeah. He was also saying that, you know, youngsters like Pragnananda, Arjun Ergasi and others, you know, they got this phenomenal energy to play. That's what you are saying. He said they never get tired, whereas, you know, he's at a stage where when he broke through and all, now he was talking about that. So
they're still young. They're still young. And Pragnananda, he actually won against Caruana in the tiebreaks, which is awesome. I mean, and we're going to see a very, very interesting match. And maybe you saw the video where Magnus Carlsen leaves his game and congratulates Pragnananda. So they're going to meet each other in the finals.
There's a long history between those two. You know, he has appreciated his move and all in the past. So it'd be like young blood against established player.
Exactly.
So this game, I think that we had one more move, which is rook b5.
This is desperate.
Desperate, yeah.
Desperate move.
Because as you clearly pointed out, and I was kind of saying the same thing, black has got zero counterplay, and it's like he has to wait until white does something. And I don't think this bishop takes b5 is not the idea.
I
And
mean, even probably taking on b5 is not going to make a big
Yeah.
difference.
yeah, no, I'm going to make, but bishop b5, maybe cb5, and then knight c4.
Yeah, some c-file ideas.
Yeah.
But okay, white doesn't have to. White can just capture probably on f7, king f7, and then, as I mentioned, like try to find
Just
some
bishop
accurate
d3
moves.
is very strong. But I don't think rook c5 is going to do anything. Oh, maybe he's threatening rook c5.
But rook c5, what's then? Let's say I capture,
Yeah,
king
you have
captures,
to capture, yeah.
and then white plays here. Okay, the idea is that knight f4, bishop f4, rook
Yeah, it gets
d4 might be hanging
extra
somewhere.
tempo. Yeah.
Then how to continue? Maybe just
Yeah, I think it's probably not wise to release that tension there.
yeah, okay.
So he probably here, after rook b5, he's
Yeah.
found a plan now.
Maybe just what happens if I just capture the
Okay.
rook?
cb5?
cb5, and I want to play like king to b1.
Yeah, but I think here at least black is alive. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Okay, black is more than alive. The eval bar is like, no, you're all wrong.
Yeah, it is more than alive. His knight will come to c4. I think this is...
Yeah, knight c4 is happening. Yeah. So bishop b5 is not going to work.
So the threat was rook into c5. You see,
Yeah.
I think from black's point of view, he's played a resourceful move. He's offered an exchange which cannot be taken, and
but how to continue here with white pieces?
yeah,
That's
I agree.
the point.
I think
Maybe
one
just
way of
capture and bishop d3.
yeah, then also rook
possibility.
c5 comes, and then there is a lot of
is
some
some-
counterplay will come.
Some tension happening.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, but I think he needs to take and not allow sack on c5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe just take on f7 and draw the knight to e4. I think this is similar to the
Exactly,
game.
just
And I
knight
think
e4.
here, you're sending a message to black that, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But,
But Evelbar doesn't like it again. But practically, why not? I mean,
yeah,
we shouldn't trust this Evelbar always
yeah.
because we need to find the best moves, right? But has to be something in this position. Something.
So here it's, your
Maybe
assessment.
just knight d5 and bishop b5.
Yeah. Yeah, knight d5 I think is
Let's say rook d5 and bishop.
probably rook d5 and then bishop b5, cb5, you'll have the same problem.
Captures.
But not that much, yeah. Probably you're okay now.
Just king b1 maybe.
Yeah, king b1, then knight c4.
Yeah.
I think black
Knight
is,
c4 again we're losing.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
the entire thing, I
Yeah.
think the object of the game is that he wants to get the knight on c4 when that knight becomes really like a very strong knight. So this is very interesting, Leopold. Any moves in this game or we,
Not yet. After rook b5, Adiban is taking his time
Yeah.
to calculate. because it's a-
obviously, I don't know, one move could
It's
be
a-
just knight
can be a critical
e4.
moment at this moment
Yeah.
of the game because white has to be really careful.
Yeah,
But after being careful, he will get his point.
hopefully. But you see, there's one more threat. Black is now threatening knight takes f4.
Yeah, and rook
And
d4,
then,
right?
and then he can move somewhere rook c5, and then he can try some tricks. But or black is just simply saying knight takes e3, and then he can
Yeah.
play that. Would you say the key thing is to keep control of c4 square?
Which one?
Keep the control of don't let the
yeah,
knight
of
in.
course. That's why the bishop is here.
Yeah,
right
if
now.
we highlight the c4 squares for your listeners, they know that that's the key square, and the bishop is controlling. Excellent.
And so that the knight will not enter here. And
No,
it's
yeah,
gonna be
and
very
I think
dangerous.
once the knight enters, there's lots of tricks coming in there.
But really, what to play here? I feel like we still didn't find it.
No, he's thinking, obviously.
He takes on f7 was played.
Yeah, he has to take
This is
it.
a harmless move.
Harmless move, yeah, but after king f7, maybe he has to go
It was
knight
played?
f4 to d3.
It was played.
Knight f4 to d3, I'm thinking.
Is
Oh,
there
then
a
it
knight
allows knight
e3?
c4. No, you can't. You
Also
can't.
knight c4, yeah.
Yeah,
Also knight e3, bishop d4 might be possible.
yeah.
After king f7, has to be a move. Maybe just
I think black, we can certainly say, by playing rook b5 has made it very interesting.
Yeah.
And the
Rook
clock
b5 is
times
very-
also is like, in a complicated position
Yeah.
like this.
but it always works when you have a complicated positions,
Yeah.
and you can play passively, waiting to lose, or you can go for some of these crazy calculative
Yeah.
lines with a lot of attacks.
Yeah,
and-
I can't think of a.
yeah, maybe even the computer will hate the move, you know,
Yeah.
but practically it might be the best move, like rook
Yeah.
b5. After king f7, what to play? So black is threatening to take knight f4, bishop f4, and maybe rook c5 is one of the ideas.
I think that
Can white just ignore everything and play king b1?
king b1 looks like a move, but then you got bishop f5 check,
Yeah.
and
king
you
a1
know, and king a1.
I
and,
completely forgot about
yeah,
this bishop, here.
Yeah. No, I think maybe what's the threat here? Let's put that in. You
Maybe
know,
just bishop d3. Why not?
it's possible. Yeah,
I
bishop
want to attack on
d3.
g6.
Bishop d3. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, okay, after knight f4, bishop f4, he did
You get
a
a
move.
tempo. Yeah.
He did a move. He played rook h7. Simple.
Yeah.
Wants to take rook g7, king g7, and
and
knight
then
d6.
brilliant fork
Yeah.
on e7.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think king g8 also he intends to take. So there is
Yeah.
the queen has to move away now, or
Or knight has to exchange itself. But what happens after this line? This is what I'm
Yeah.
wondering about. Like rook c5 here,
rook c5, pawn takes c5,
pawn takes c5.
rook d2. Yeah, this is very
D2,
complicated,
bishop
isn't
c7.
it? Yeah, and then rook d1
Rook d1, king
check.
d1,
Yeah,
and
king d1, and then this is
and knight
better.
is
Knight is
yeah.
trapped. Yeah,
because after knight b7 there is a move bishop e7, and
Yeah.
white is winning a piece.
yeah.
This is a crazy line.
This is really So I don't think that for rook h7 is a good move. Okay, let's see. Rook h7. What should he play? The problem is the queen and the rook are all connected to the e6 square.
Yeah.
So you have that, and also this queen can't move anywhere, because if you move it somewhere, bishop into b5 and queen into a5 is also under threat.
Exactly, but rook g7 is a concrete threat right now, and black has to make a decision. Of course,
Yeah.
black has some time to make a decision, but
So knight takes c3 also, you might play rook g7
Rook
check
g7,
first.
absolutely,
Yeah.
after
So
knight
there's
e3.
no time.
yeah,
There's no time for nothing.
if black slows down, rook g7 is going to happen.
Yeah. I think he has to now bail out with rook into c5, pawn into c5, and then even
then
knight
queen
into
e5
e3,
maybe.
you got queen into d8. I don't know, it's quite... I think he will have to bail out now with rook takes c5, but he doesn't want to decide that, he wants the bishop. Yeah, and then, I
Yeah.
don't know.
But
This
then
looks
what to
clearly
play?
better.
Because bishop d4 might
Yeah,
be
bishop
played
d4,
later.
but e5 I think I
E5,
was
yeah.
thinking. Maybe black has got, but then also after e5, knight d5 and bishop h6. So this looks
Yeah.
very, very tricky for black.
Also, white can just exchange a few pieces, and then it's going to
Yeah.
be winning, because
Yeah, this
white will
move,
be...
rook h7. I
Rook
think-
h7 is good, yeah.
Yeah, he's making him think he doesn't have many moves here.
Yeah.
So what else can he do? He can't play knight e3, he can't play knight f4, he has to cover the e6 square.
Which one to do, right?
Maybe rook d6, I think. Maybe just
d6.
rook d6.
Looks interesting, yeah.
Rook d6,
Stopping,
but the problem here is knight takes d5 and bishop h6 again.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's
So it's
multiple
game over.
problems. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
game over again.
Yeah, because your
The
rook
rook
left the
c5?
back rank. Yeah.
Rook c5 and
Rook
just
rook
capture.
c5 check, maybe king
Yeah,
g1.
takes.
No, just king g1 first.
Okay,
Just
sorry. Just king b1.
yeah.
And,
I think
yeah, this has to be
this
enough.
looks very, very,
Yeah. All the pieces are hanging. c5
Yeah.
might be hanging after I move the queen somewhere.
Yeah,
g7
yeah.
is going to be lost very, very soon.
Yeah, bishop g7 followed
Mhm.
by some queen h6 and bishop e5.
Yeah.
So this looks quite nice for
Yeah.
white actually. So I don't think there is, if we go back to the original position, has he done something?
Rook
No, he
h7.
hasn't done anything. So you see, he's got problem to cover e6 square. He's got a problem to cover the a5 knight.
Yeah.
And even in worst case scenario, his rook on d8 is not ideally
It's
placed.
not helping anything because, okay, there are some pins, but it's not enough.
No, not enough. Not
Still, the
enough.
king is weak, and the weakness of the king is just compensating all the other threats.
Mm. And you know, here I think the fight is about the c4 square, like we said. So even he wants the bishop, not the knight.
He wants the bishop,
Not
exactly.
the knight,
If the
yeah.
knight will enter to c4, yes.
Yeah, that would be like a
different
monster
story.
knight there. But I think that
That's not going to happen very soon.
and on the contrary, if you see the two knights are now
Yeah.
starting to come in.
Especially on e6 square,
Yeah.
they are already creating these
Yeah.
forking threats. Is there a move like moving the queen and trying to...
Yeah. See,
But
if,
it's not
if-
also going to work because there is
No,
always
it-
bishop b5 and queen a5.
yeah, bishop b5 and queen a5. That was the problem. You know, he's got
Okay,
too
right
many.
now it doesn't work, but just knight d5 and bishop h6 probably is more than enough to
It's
finish the
also
game,
enough,
yeah.
but I would also take on b5 and then, you know,
It
okay,
might-
this is more than enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more than enough.
The problem is there are multiple threats now. You
Yeah.
see, knight d5 and bishop h6 is coming.
Rook
and-
g7, of course.
Yeah, I think black is.
Black is struggling here, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough game, but
Let's go to another game
he
of your
overplayed.
choice.
Yes, so we
Is
can
there
just...
any top board left?
Yeah, top three boards were gone, but
Got very quickly
yeah.
today. I saw that. Yeah.
it's peaceful day in Abu Dhabi Festival.
Yeah.
We said it. Bishop f4, rook b1, rook b1, rook d8, king g2. This looks quite.
Okay, so have a look at this position. So let's see what's in play here. See the knight on e1. I think it's struggling,
Yeah.
and I believe that for white there is no move like even bishop g5. It's not going to work, I think, because so that looks like the move bishop g5. So what's happening? Is it king
Bishop
g7?
g5,
then?
just king g7.
Yeah, they have to
Can
play.
they capture a4?
Yeah, I guess so. Then you have knight d3 now.
Yeah. And what to play
No,
with the
for bishop g5, I think that he has to go rook d6, getting out of the pin.
instead of king
So
g7.
there is a little thing, yeah. And then if you go bishop f6, rook f6, and then
Capture,
fe4,
so
rook
there's
f2 check.
f2,
And
yeah.
this is what he must be
If
aiming.
the rook will manage to enter to the second
Yeah.
rank, it will be over very soon.
Yeah, you very, very eloquently put it, yeah. So I think that bishop g5 is rook d6, but
Yeah.
if we go back a couple of moves into the position that we are in, and I think that, so although the assessment saying it's equal, you know,
Yeah.
so you can see that
This is the current position.
yes, position bishop g5, rook d6. I think that's
But
the
bishop
point.
g5 has to be played at some point,
Yeah.
but maybe now. But rook d6, is there any threats happening here? Like maybe just bishop h6.
Yeah, bishop h6. You can
The threat of rook b8.
threat of rook b8. Yes, is there.
So you will have to go back, rook.
No, maybe I now
bishop
play
f7,
just rook e6 and then I go back rook
rook
e8.
e6.
But in any kind of end
But
game,
then you will lose a pawn if you play rook e8. Maybe knight e8 has to be
yeah,
played.
knight e8 is possible. But again, like you rightly pointed out, the back rank, maybe
Yeah.
something different has to be done. Maybe bishop g5. I think bishop g5 is what. I think if he can't play rook d6, this is what he wants to play.
Yeah. No, rook d6 has to be played. Otherwise, giving up this pawn, it's...
Yeah.
Rook d6, there is bishop e7, but rook b7 will enter here. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be very, very unpleasant for the black, at least. But rook d6, okay, we offered bishop h6.
Yeah. Now
Maybe just
there-
knight d7. Okay, knight d7 will lose a pawn.
Yeah. And see, black doesn't want to exchange or force that exchange, you see.
Mhm.
And if you go rook d8, I think he will be happy to repeat move position.
Even bishop a7 will not
Yeah,
work.
there's rook
because
b7, yeah.
b7,
No,
let's say
no,
rook
no, doesn't work.
d7
Yeah.
takes, and black is
Yeah,
losing
this
a
is-
pawn. And
yeah, this is-
unfortunately, even the king is closer for
Yeah.
the pawn. So But what to play after bishop? Maybe just repeat the moves after rook d6, bishop h6, and rook d8, bishop g5, and rook
hang on a
d6.
minute. Maybe it's knight d.
Earlier knight d7 wasn't working because still this was.
This one is going now, isn't it? It doesn't. So bishop g5, you have to go first. I
Okay,
think that's
yeah.
what rook d6 now. Bishop h6
Yeah.
is asking the question now, isn't it?
Yeah. But black is left no moves. Rook d8 has to be a move, so white can actually force a draw now.
White should be happy with the draw here.
Yeah.
But he's got this b file. I'm just thinking whether white needs to repeat this or.
Yeah.
Okay,
So bishop g5 can be played.
possible, yeah.
Yeah. We have this position. We can go to other game.
Yeah,
See
sure.
what is happening there, and then
We'll
be
come back.
to
Yeah.
this. Well, we don't have this one. Let's go to the board number 6, and here
Yeah.
black is facing a little bit problems because the Caro-Kann was played,
Yeah.
but c5 was never played, and rook b8 before and knight c8.
Yeah, I know about this player playing white. His name
Yeah.
is Ratnawel. He's been coming to Abu Dhabi for many years.
Many years.
He came as a junior. I met him, I think, a few years back and spoke to his dad at the time.
Yeah.
He's really become a really good player now.
Nice.
And I was talking to him during the tournament. He said he wants to become a grandmaster first before
old
he
is he?
decides anything. He is 22, 23.
So yeah, still
He's
young.
just completed his BE, so
Yeah.
that means like he's an engineer. But
Yeah.
I don't think he wants a job now. He wants
yeah,
to
he just
get
wants
his
to play chess. It happens when you have a
grand-
goal. You're trying to become a
And
grandmaster.
he's thoroughly prepared. He's one of the players, very thoroughly prepared.
Mhm.
Even last year, I think this is 3 years ago, maybe he beat the top seed.
Yes.
And here he's had really good game. He won against that Spain grandmaster. That
Yeah,
was a very
Anton
close
Gujera,
game.
yeah. We remember the game. It was a very beautiful game.
Yeah. And he was under pressure, and I was talking to him
Yeah.
other day. So, different players approach, like you approach a position. Some players have only a positional way, and we were talking, couple of Indian guys, actually, we were telling him, what about the rook coming out to A4, C4, B4, B5?
Yeah.
I said I was worried about that, but,
Yeah.
some of us can pick up a plan easily, like sometimes, you hit on the right play.
Yeah, you see the position and the plan is just hitting
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
like how you shall play.
Yeah. So black's problems here is that
Space.
he's
They don't
coiled
have
in,
space.
isn't it?
They don't have space
Yeah. And
Yes.
actually, literally, he has to wait for
for white to.
white to open up
Yeah.
with some c4. But also here, I don't know. There is one thematic play you must have seen, like f4, g4, knight g2, knight e3. He's got plenty of.
White's last move was 91.
Yeah,
which
maybe
is
I think he's just
hinting me he wants to.
Yeah,
play
I think
for
you just want to go knight d3 first, I believe.
knight d3. Yeah.
Which is to again, reinforce the c5 square. And,
Yeah,
And if you see that both players used a lot of time there.
both of them. Yeah,
Yes.
because somewhere was a move like c5. Black could actually play it, but they didn't play it, and
Yeah, c5 was
Yeah.
you had to break through.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
I think that white can decide whether he's going to go to the king side, whereas black
or playing the queen side. So white
playing
has a
the
choice.
queen side. He's obviously got it really in a
Yeah.
very good bind. You would say it's a bind, and I think that sometime he's waiting for f6 to come.
Yes.
When then he might then switch gears and go to the other side.
So black
So-
has to be very patient in this position.
Yes, I think so. He can't castle that
Yeah.
early, I mean.
Yeah, he
So-
just has to wait to see how white wants to develop the game, in which flank, and then see how to continue. That's a very good approach but they cannot do anything else.
I believe there's a lot of Indian players playing in the festival here.
There are many Indian players.
Somebody put a number to 150 or 155.
I didn't see the number, but I'm
But-
pretty
but-
sure. I was going to calculate one day, but I was okay.
So this position looks very, very. There will be a time scramble here.
Yeah.
Definitely a time scramble, but I think white is better suited with this.
Yeah.
The other day he went down to 2 seconds, Ratnawel.
Yes.
Like he was playing with 2 seconds left.
That's very stressful.
Yes, it's very, it's what do you call a grandmaster trait has to
Yeah.
play under pressure.
That's very stressful when you have only 2 seconds,
Yeah.
because in this tournament there is no increment after the 40th
So
move.
it is white who's thinking, so what's the, oh, he just played queen
Queen
c7.
C7 was played.
Yeah, I think he just have to play some general moves like knight d3.
Yeah.
And I think that well, for knight d3, then b6 may be at the moment.
Maybe just bishop d3 first, exchanging
Yeah,
the bishops.
exchanging the bishop also is okay.
Yeah. And then transforming the knight to d3. So maybe the
Yeah,
idea
but-
is just to play bishop
But
d3.
I'm thinking the black maybe is now planning b6 at some point.
Yeah, because now they are not playing b6 because this bishop is attacking a6.
Yeah,
But after this bishop will be gone, it's
Yeah.
also not easy to play with the white pieces. When you know you have an advantage, when you know you have a space, and you have a choice, and then you have to spend some time to find the choice. Actually, knight
can we also
b3
show
was
that?
played.
Yeah, can we also show that in that position, instead of bishop d3,
Yeah.
he could have also played something like rook a3, rook g3.
Yes.
If the castle, there's a possibility there, yeah.
Yes.
But I think f4 needs to be played now.
At
to-
some point, he played knight b3.
He played knight d3, did he?
Yes.
Okay, so,
So in the game-
we got him.
Knight b3 was played.
Yeah, I think he wasn't very tempted with b6.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think, this is kind of a move. He said, I've done my job on a5. So, and given a chance, I'll go knight d3, I'll go, what is
Yeah.
black's problem? Shall we say the bishop on f8?
Oh, black has a lot of problems. Also, the knights are a problem.
Yeah, all the
rooks
knights
a
are not
problem.
coming.
The queen is very limited. The space is the black's
Yeah.
problem. They need to exchange some pieces, but they don't get the chance
So
yet.
what about knight b6 now? The knight on c8 comes to b6.
Trying to throw it to c4.
Yeah, and then, this is what I was thinking, that,
Yeah, because the more pieces they exchange, the better it is going to be, right?
yeah. So this knight b6 looks nice with the knight coming to c4.
Yes.
Yeah, this looks interesting, knight c4, but
But what to play? How to stop it? Maybe knight has to go back to a5.
yeah, I think so. Or you can't
But
allow
not
knight
necessarily.
c4.
Even knight c4.
Yeah, you can't trade it off as well because it disrupts
Yeah.
your
the
control.
bishop will be very strong, by the way.
Yeah.
Also.
Okay, this looks poised for another one.
Yeah. It
So-
will be an interesting game yet happening here.
Yeah, let's
And
get it.
shall we
Choose
go
your
to the?
choice.
I'm just following like one opening after another, after one
Yeah,
game
yeah,
after
yeah.
another. So, in this position, Spanish Grandmaster Anton Guerrero is playing against Chinese Grandmaster Li Di, and b5 was played. I was expecting knight e5, trying to do some ideas, but there was knight d4. But black is in a hurry. D5, b5. And it followed with the a4, and b4 wasn't played. a6 was played.
Yeah.
Captures, and white played knight e2.
I think the plan for white is crystal clear, is
Yeah.
that he wants that. I think that b5 was, is to maybe gain a little bit of space
Yeah.
there, but let's look at your move, knight e5. That's quite interesting for knight e5 because you are threatening to
I want to take on f3.
f3 and make it double pawn, and then
Yeah.
you have that. And
But
So-
white can just save it with the knight d4.
yeah, you can play knight d4. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there is nothing that
Nothing is happening here anymore.
nothing is happening.
That's why black decided to play a little
Yeah.
more active b5 right away, trying to create some threats on the queen side. But a4, a6 takes, and
The
now
rook
a
has
file
a
is open.
nice open file. Yeah,
for the white rook, not the
Yeah.
black rook. So maybe
Yeah.
b5 was too aggressive.
yeah, and you can see that the idea of knight e2 is maybe he wants to play bishop f4
Yeah.
and neutralize that. He's got the open file.
White is doing a little better now after b5. We can see it.
Yeah, I agree. White has got something going for him, isn't it?
We have another interesting game in the Matlakov game, and okay, Queen g7 was played.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I think this is again when I looked at this game, See, the bishop on b7
Yeah.
is there, but I think that black is hoping something on knight on e5 will land.
Yeah, but then why f4 here?
Yeah.
This was my question. Why f4?
Yeah, f4 was, I think he was trying to secure e5 for
Yeah.
him. I think instead of f4, he should have played some standard moves like knight e5 first, get the
Yes.
queen out, and then play queen f6. Something like that. I was thinking was the plan, you know.
Maybe
But
he was scared.
he
of
was scared about
f4.
f4 and e4. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, I mean, this is our current position. The times are more or less equal, we can say. It's only down for 6
Yeah.
minutes. But black has also this problem on d6. Okay, it's easily protected, but the moment the knight will jump on e4, the d6 will become a problem. As you mentioned, bishop b7 is not
Yeah,
playing well.
even I'm thinking that, you know, see what is black's counterplay is
Yeah.
that if you go more like rook e6, he will come queen
Yeah.
d4, and then you know knight e5, and then there's counter problem. So
Yeah.
rook e6 cannot be played. So you got to go. See, white. Can we highlight the e5 and the d4? The two squares, I think needs to be guarded because these are the
Yeah.
two entry points for black.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I think that.
And the rook
Yes,
is
his
very well
bishop-
guarding them.
Yeah, the rook is guarding them at the moment, and knight e5 is f4 will be the
Yeah.
move. And definitely, I don't think black wants to trade the knight for the bishop, and
Yeah, yeah.
afterwards, I think it's the e file will become more important like that. But
Yeah. You're right. So we're gonna see some games happening.
Yeah.
Matlakov is still thinking. And shall we check the board number 10 and go for a short break?
Yeah,
would you
yeah.
say? Okay, so in the board number 10, this is what I was thinking about. Like, okay, this is kind of a theoretical position, but the eval bar thinks it's equal, but it's so hard to play with the black pieces because the queen is just so badly squared on c5. It's going to be only okay. Knight
Yeah.
g5 was played. This is interesting, and knight is
I think-
jumping on e4.
I suspect that move rook d8 wasn't, you know, generally
Yeah.
players play bd7, rook fc8, you know, but
Yeah.
I don't know about rook d8. But again, you're right in saying this queen is very delicately balanced.
Yeah,
Maybe he should go queen h5, you know, that was one way of playing queen h5, bishop
Yeah.
h3.
now
But-
right.
Yeah,
But queen h5, white can play h3 and
yeah, h3 and
Yeah.
then g4 is coming,
Yeah.
but again, you know, this is
it's not that easy.
yeah, it's not that easy. Yeah,
So basically, knight g5, h6, knight e4, knight e4, and queen h5 was played. And here, white played h3, and black is thinking, and black is
yeah, because
running out of time.
Yeah,
17 minutes only.
Yeah, and the queen is completely misplaced.
Yes,
You see,
and it's only move number 14. The queen is misplaced. There are still pieces that are not developed, and it's going to be a hard game for Sindarov. And
yeah, because
Suleymanov is
he
having a
can't
good
go queen
tournament.
f5. He can't play queen e5. Again,
Yeah.
there's moves like he's thinking a lot because how does the queen escape?
Yeah, that's the question.
Maybe queen f5 now has to run out of before being trapped. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know whether knight d4 should be played, but again, the idea of knight d4 is that then the queen can go to e5 at the right time, but then there's something like bishop c3 is also there.
Yeah, maybe white is trying, black will try to play like g5,
Yeah.
jump with the queen to g6. At least it looks a little bit safer square for the queen. Maybe let's say g5.
Yeah, I think with g5, I think then white plays like bishop c3,
Yeah,
possibly, you know,
Again,
and trade
problems.
off the pieces, and then he's gaining more control.
yeah. Black has a lot of problems. We can agree on it.
Yes, you
And
correctly
bishop
pointed
e6
out
was
most
played.
most of the problems. So bishop e6. What's the plan is he wants to break d5. You see,
But what is happening after bishop f3?
bishop f3. I
Queen
think he will go
f5.
queen e5.
Queen e5, bishop c3,
Yeah.
knight d4.
Yeah,
Knight
knight
d4 has to
d4.
be
Yeah,
played. Yes, there is a move, knight
He's trying to escape with that.
And after
yeah.
knight d4, it's not going to be that easy because knight f3 is played
Yeah.
with a check. And well, I can try to play, let's say, king f1 with the idea of e3.
I think now d5 counterplay will
d5
come
will
into
happen,
play.
yeah. After d5, white might have problems.
Yeah. So I think going back, I think that that here, I think when black played bishop e6, he's giving notice, I want to break
Yeah.
d5.
D5 is coming very
Coming.
soon, very soon.
And usually in this type of positions, the knight should be on d5, correct?
Yeah.
So maybe it's time to play knight c3 to stop the break, and then just hit on
Yeah.
d5. This is
To-
what I'm just thinking, that then the knight can come to f4 and all.
White has more power on D5 right now then.
Yeah.
But then the queen will be free.
Yeah, the queen is free to go, but what I'm technically seeing here is that I put a knight on d5.
Yeah.
He can't obviously trade because then it'll be like two bishop pair. And then the knight on d5 is also threatening knight f4.
Yeah.
So that may be the issue
Yes,
here.
sir.
And I feel that this is typical way to play this position. And
And if I don't play knight c3, so basically d5 is going to be the next move.
d5, yeah, is going to open up the position.
I still want to try this.
Yeah,
Not g4.
bishop f3.
Maybe g4.
Yeah, g4, I think he has to go queen e5.
And here I want to think about now bishop c3.
Bishop c3, knight d4.
But now I have e3.
Yeah.
That's my whole point. So maybe g4 is possible. After g4, maybe black has to play queen h4 and not queen e5. Because after queen e5, it's already a lot of problems
Yeah.
again.
Oh,
But though actually after bishop c3 here,
yeah,
let's say here, black can play queen f4.
yeah,
And if e3, black can capture bishop c3. And
Yeah.
after capturing, the queen gets this beautiful diagonal already. This is the way maybe. I mean, queen e5 or queen f6, it can be both.
yeah. Shall we check Adiban's game, what's happened,
Sure,
and
let's
then we'll
happen
go to
there.
a break and then...
Let's check Adiban's game. What happened after rook h7? Rook c5.
Oh, okay, we predicted it
Yes,
correctly here.
You offered this move.
Yeah.
Your intuition was
Yeah.
like black has to do something
Yeah.
like this.
So
captures-
viewers, you got it here first from Marina and me.
Yeah.
We were saying he has to do something, so rook c5 and king
Rook c5
c8.
is probably the only way. But here we evaluate it like white is exchange up. Even okay, rook g7.
Yeah,
He gave
has
the
to-
exchange
has-
back.
See, if you don't take on g7,
Yeah. The
then
bishop is
blacks
too
get
powerful.
very dynamic play.
The bishop is too powerful.
The bishop is too powerful, and that's why he got to eliminate
Yeah.
that. And not only after eliminating, I think that now I feel that maybe it's
And queen d3.
yeah, queen
And
d3
black
is
took
quite
knight
nice.
e3. What is happening? Is white actually finishing the game soon, or it's not going to happen yet? Because, okay, queen d8, there is queen f4, right?
No, queen g6 check first.
Queen g6 first, check, and king, let's say, f8.
Yeah,
Because
King.
after king h8, most probably there is just bishop d3. And,
yeah, I'm thinking bishop d3.
and,
Yeah,
game over. So queen g6, king f8 has to be played, and what to play now?
so queen h6, you will go king e8 or
I don't know yet.
yeah, queen h6 looks. But the point is he doesn't have anything to finish off here.
Okay, let's say king f7.
Yeah.
Then you can play like...
I'm thinking bd3 should be
Like,
good enough. Yeah.
Is there a chance to sacrifice a bishop, bring the rook to h8, but we don't
But
need
no,
to.
no,
Okay,
but
queen
here
h7.
Yeah, queen h7 is there, but bd3 also okay, because knight d1, your
Yeah.
bishop is combining to g6.
This has
and-
to be a checkmate though.
Yeah, this also looks
If
very,
king
very...
f6, because if king f8, of course, it's a checkmate.
Yeah,
And if king g8, it's also checkmate. So king f6 is left to be the only move. And
yeah.
let's
queen
just
g6.
find the checkmate,
Yeah,
king e5, and how to give a checkmate here. This is the question. But
queen,
it's already a
queen
good
g5,
sign.
queen g5.
Queen g5, knight f5. Still fighting.
Still fighting.
Still fighting. Maybe even knight d3 is possible here.
I think the king is fighting.
The king is still in the center of the board, but how to?
I think maybe just go queen e4,
think-
king f6.
I think just rook d8,
Yeah,
queen d8, and knight d3.
This
with
is
the
king
following
d4.
queen e4.
Yeah, that,
Yeah,
that
it's
looks
more- it's-
very nice, very
Yeah.
nice, very nice, yeah.
So the king in the center, impossible that it
Yeah.
cannot be checkmated.
No, this
Okay.
is too dangerous, as you said, that,
It was
you
played.
know.
It was played in the game actually.
Oh,
So.
well done us.
Yeah. It was played queen d3, knight e3, queen g6,
Yeah.
king f8, and queen h6. And
Yeah.
Adivan is going to make it. He's playing a very, very good chess today.
Yeah. I think that he got, you can say that the opening choice of playing b5, b4,
Yeah.
that wasn't very ideal. So
His opponent is an Iranian FIDE master, Movahed Sina. And thank you, Ravi. And we'll take a short break and we'll be
And then
back
we'll come
again.
back, yeah.
Yes. Okay, don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very soon. See you.
okay, we'll leave this position for the viewers to
Yeah.
work it out.
They will see. Hey everyone, welcome back, and let me remind you one more time, we are following the 6th round of the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival with the international master Ravi Kumar. And Ravi, did you have some time to check the games in the hall?
Yeah, in fact, I think one of the games we were discussing got over, and I met both the players. They were talking about this is the game of Ratnavel,
Yeah.
and we were saying that knight b6 was the key move. And I spoke with his opponent Pranav,
Yeah.
and said that knight b6 was the move that he played.
The game finished already, or?
I think they are discussing outside. Must be a
Okay.
draw, from
Yeah.
the way it looked like it.
It was a draw.
I
We
think.
can go through the game because knight b6.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's freeing all the squares.
Yeah, I think what Pranav was saying, the player playing black, he was saying that
Yeah.
if he didn't play knight b6 and white played a5, then it will be like in his words he described the worst position for him, because he has to now wait for white to do something,
Yeah.
and that's why he needs to get the knight b6 and c4. And then the second knight came to b5, and then you can see that here that almost these two knights cancel out each other, but I think the white knight is better. And as we were saying that some activity in king side should happen,
Yeah.
but I don't think that happened. I think white played it very safe.
Yeah.
And just I
H4
thought to
is
let
good.
you know that Ratnavel has completed his 3 Grandmaster norms.
Amazing.
So, and he is waiting for rating.
Rating. And how much is he gaining now?
No, he lost 18 points in the previous tournament,
okay.
and but he's hoping at least to get back. And then I think
Yeah. Yeah.
he needs to hit 2500, which I'm sure he will hit.
But he is very, very close to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he should make up some ground here, because yesterday his performance was 26-45 something. We can have a look on it. So I think the game went very dull after this.
H5.
H5, yeah,
Knight f4. And knight d2 was followed.
yeah,
Queen
I-
d2
yeah,
and h4.
yeah.
Okay, black got some game. I mean, black all had to do was exchange one piece, and somehow all the pieces are free. Well,
Yeah.
maybe except this bishop, but
Yeah, we were saying that
yeah.
bishop was the problem.
but it can always
Yeah.
exchange itself with the knight on c5.
Yeah,
So bishop d3, bishop c5,
yeah. It
pawn
is-
captures, bishop d3,
yeah.
knight d3, king d7, and
Yeah, this is just, only white can do something now. And I think that I kind of overheard them. The problem was the a5 pawn, if we can
Yeah.
highlight and show them. And
because the rook has always to be careful for
Yeah.
this pawn.
absolutely. And then, I don't think there's anything, but they played on few more moves, but, Ratnavel is a very attacking player. He likes to try really hard, and having white pieces. And I
Yeah.
think he has no risk, and, he had to try f4. And
f4,
then-
g6,
Yeah.
knight
Yeah,
f2,
two.
knight a7.
And even if we can show the viewers that knight g4, knight f6, the knight on f6 does nothing.
Yeah, especially the only king e7 and everything
Yeah.
is stopped.
Yeah. See, for the knight to be successful, I'm sure in your games or in your as a coach, the knight has
Yeah.
to hit something, but the knight on f6 has no target.
But the pawns, you see how they are standing. It's
Yeah.
like checkers on the white squares, right? But okay, knight d3.
I have one plan here. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
Let's put the knight on f6.
Okay.
I think let's preempt with king e7 or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then
How you want to break through in this pawn structure?
I want to bring the queen to g5. I don't know whether it's possible, but
And then, yeah, I mean, okay, let's check. Knight g4,
yeah.
some move, right?
Yeah.
What shall black play? Knight b5, for example.
Knight b5, knight f6 check.
Check, king e7, and
Yeah.
can we just play here like...
I'm just thinking maybe f5 is possible, but it's too risky, I would say. But I'm thinking f5, he will take ef5, and then queen g5, he will go king e4, and then I can do some dangling because queen f6 check, queen f7 check is there. I don't know. It's interesting, but I don't think f5 is the right idea.
Is there a chance to play maybe c4 somewhere and
Yeah,
then transform the
C4
knight to if like let's say
Yeah,
like captures, for example, I want to transform my knight to d6, but
Yeah.
okay, maybe no, but
but I think he will push C3, and I think, I, as we said, I mean, but this Persian.
can I
mean,
put some
shall-
pressure on this pawn, like let's say rook f3,
Yeah,
rook
that's it.
h3,
Yeah,
queen
and then-
e1,
Yeah,
and
but
then I want to capture.
yeah,
Let's check.
that's an idea I was thinking actually a minute ago, that why not do this one? But I think black can play like rook h6 here.
Yeah, and then rook h8 and everything is
Yeah, everything
pretty
remains
safe. Yeah. Wow, I have f5.
f5 now. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe he can't even double it. Okay, so what can he do here?
So my idea is very clear. I just want to capture one pawn, and if I
Yeah.
capture it, it's gonna be a.
So this idea is direct, Maybe when you go knight g4, sorry, when you play knight g4, that I think king e7 was maybe not the right way.
But knight b5 is a good move, probably. But where you want to take your king? Maybe you want to play a rook here and then take the king somewhere here.
Yeah,
trying to play.
but then you have the same problem with the h4 pawn. You see.
Yeah.
So what was played in the game was
it was played knight d3,
yeah.
not knight g4.
But let's go to knight g4 and let's
Yeah,
try
that's
to see what does white want? Knight on f6, rook on h3, queen on e1, and if your king is on e7, you will take it. Yes.
Yeah.
But also another interesting point, we can kind of highlight the b line. But okay, maybe I can just play rook b f8 here. Maybe that's
what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
Knight
knight
f6
f6,
and the
I
king
keep-
just goes to hide on the
Yeah,
queen
but
side.
the problem is not solved. Still rook f3. Your plan is quite strong. So what
Okay,
does
knight
black?
b5.
Okay, rook h3.
Rook h3, rook h6.
No,
I
that's
still don't
f5.
have rook h6.
Yeah, you fell in your own trap.
Yeah. I still don't
I
have
fell
rook-
once, you fell once, so we are even. So I think he can't do anything here. I think that, even what I feel that losing the c3 pawn and your queen remaining on h4, then I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that maybe something will
But
happen.
the thing
Maybe
is
black
that
has
even
to.
if queen e1, the thing is that I cannot, even if I take, like I lose c3, but the queen manages to enter from behind.
Yeah, but now your plan, with the rook on h3 also defending it,
Yeah.
I think that I'm thinking bring the other put the queen somewhere to protect the a5 pawn, and then bring the other rook in. But again, you'll get into same
How
problems
to
there.
bring the rook?
Yeah, this rook is stuck for the pawn. You see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he has to play base move here, king b8 something. He has to go there,
Okay,
and
let's say,
then you will play
black is
queen
waiting.
e1. Again, he has to wait because
Okay, but how to wait?
yeah,
Let's say queen d8.
yeah, queen d8 you can
The
play.
idea is that after rook h4, I capture rook h4,
Yeah,
queen h4, and I can take knight c3, and let's say queen h6, I always have rook h8.
yeah, and the knight will seal the
And
b file. So
d4 is also...
so maybe we should play your move at the time that we have the queen, the c4, the gambit on c4, and put the knight on d6. Whether that's going to do the job, but I think you found a good move, queen d8. Yeah,
Yeah, this looks okay, right?
this looks very much okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the plan is, I think,
But
that,
white still could try it.
yeah, but
Still
knight
could
d3 is just saying to, I
Yeah.
have no ambition.
try. Yeah, it's like... yeah, and then they just repeat it here. For how many
Yeah, they
moves?
just repeated here, and
They repeat it and they didn't even take the draw. Eventually, knight g4 was played.
I think the tournament point position played a big role
Yeah.
here, because I think he has had a good result. He's beaten a couple of grandmasters. He's had a draw with some top players, and now this draw against Pranav. He's also from Chennai,
Yeah.
and Ratnabel is from Coimbatore in state in
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu. And this looks like you have to try, but the time situation maybe wasn't helping.
Yeah, yeah.
And he I mean,
He
if you-
actually tried, but then he didn't continue from here.
yeah. I think like your plan of rook f8 and queen d8 is okay. With c3 hanging, you can't really do anything.
Yeah. C3 is hanging, A5 is hanging, and
Yeah.
the rook cannot protect both of them because A3 square is taken. And if I bring the queen to protect both of them, then my two rooks are not gonna make it. And at some point, A5 is always like, let's say if I had this pawn on B4,
Yeah, then
This
you
would
you
be
can
a
do all
different
kind of
story.
magic there.
this would be a different story.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was an interesting game. We have to agree on that. And
Yeah, and I think draw is a fair result.
no,
you
it's
know.
we have more results actually on the board number 5. This is board number 4, and the game is ended in a draw after bishop c5. White played rook b7, not bishop g5, and king g7, and captures, and knight d3, bishop d4, knight e5, knight d6. Well, nothing is happening. Bishop b6, and later, what? Yeah, okay, the rook has to come to d7, and c4 is hanging.
Yeah.
But I couldn't take on e2, right? There were no ideas.
No, rook e2, then king f3 will come. Your knight was on the way anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I think that now
Apparently there are no ideas.
I don't think it's quite equal now. Even if you play king f3 now,
Yeah.
yeah, I think king f3. Yeah, but where would you improve anything? Black can just sit and do nothing. It looked like white was doing something, wasn't it,
Yeah.
a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
And then,
But now nothing is happening. Because no, white wasn't doing. Black was doing, but white took some pawn. We were thinking about bishop g5 to take a draw. Well, we have another result on the board number 6. Yeah, this
Okay.
was the game. And
so,
okay, what happened here? This is the same game.
yeah, it
Uh,
looks very
board number-
similar
yeah, it's the
to
same.
the
It's the
one
same
which
game.
we were discussing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the boss Ratanava.
Yeah, that
And-
ended in a draw, but that was one of the thing. But
Yeah.
here we had some nice fireworks coming.
Let me
So
see.
in this position, and I thought that that was not the best move, because sometimes a chess player is very eager
Yeah.
to establish, and I think he missed rook into e2, and I think black got something out of it. I think
So bishop e4, there is rook
rook into
e2.
e2, yeah,
And
bishop
after bishop
d6,
d6,
and then just
rook
double
e8.
give the pawn.
Yeah, wow. But it's a very nice game for the black. I mean, for a
Yeah.
board of a
Too
pawn.
much play, I would say that. So queen c5, c2 is hanging. Yeah, rook c1 you're playing. I believe you are still better, but I don't know what other thing you could play here.
Rook c5, knight d5, d4,
Yeah, queen c4.
queen c4, bishop g3, f6.
Yeah,
Queen
stopping
h2.
knight e5. But I think black's got amazing bind here. That's what I feel, that his position suddenly came alive, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
Like it was like some defensive. He sacked that pawn, and then
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
the one pushing now. Yes, he's a pawn down. We can agree to that. But what about white's pieces? The rook on c1. If we can highlight and show them the rook on c1, the rook on f1.
But the pieces are very active. That's the whole point, right? Black pieces are dominating now.
Yeah.
But king h8 was played.
Yeah.
So it means that black doesn't have anything to improve in the position.
No, he's not. I think he's optimized now, and
Yeah.
I think at the right time that he might want to go g5, h5. So he puts the king in a safe corner, and then obviously c3 has to be played. And now knight a5. This is the position I saw when we were on the break, and I thought that. But apparently here white is doing well, but I think, can we show the viewers what happens if knight c3? What was wrong with knight c3?
What was wrong with knight c3?
With the knight on c6, I think we just
Right,
simple
we need to
tactic.
check
Rook
this,
takes. I think it's this one was the thing, and
Rook takes, queen takes, and d5, d6, or
I don't know. Maybe just even d5 now looks very strong.
Yeah.
d5 looks strong, and then some viewers may think, okay, why not grab the
Nice.
pawn?
D5 is nice.
Yeah,
D5 is nice because black cannot capture the pawn. If the queen captures, then the rook just takes the
yeah,
knight.
takes the knight. Yeah,
If the knight captures, oops, the queen
Yeah.
is gone.
yeah. And can we show the people who are watching knight into d1? That's the move. You know, a normal chess player who's watching our
Which
analysis.
one? Knight 2?
After knight c3, we
Yeah.
said d5 and knight d1.
Oh yeah, of course we have
This,
to go
this is
through
what
this.
an average player would
But
think.
the-
Rook takes c4,
And then the
and
two
you
knights are
got
hanging.
you got two knights under attack.
And even this knight is trying to escape
Yeah.
attacking the rook.
Yeah, knight
there is
A5 just
another
rook
time
A4.
attacking.
You know, this is you know, I was discussing with my good friend Andrew
Yeah.
Martin. He was saying often when people listen to the commentary, if there's a pawn grab, they will only think about that.
Yeah.
And that's why on various occasions, so this you're excellently demonstrated.
yeah.
Well done.
So rook a4, very, very well done, of course.
Yeah.
But that's why knight didn't take on c3.
Yeah.
Black could see everything. Knight f5, knight d2, queen
Yeah.
d3,
Yeah.
and queen a4. The queen is free.
Yeah. I think the main idea is that if queen d2, if somebody's thinking as queen into d2, then queen takes a5, put the knight on d5 under attack. And would you agree that once the pawns start rolling, the pawn on c3 and
The pawns
d4,
are just gonna walk like
Yeah.
unstoppably. They're just gonna be
Yeah.
like hurrah, both
Yeah.
of them, and
yeah, it would be
Go
like
to
a
the war.
Space Invader game, you know, it's coming,
Exactly.
bing, bing, bing.
one after another. One
Yeah.
after
So
another.
after queen a4,
Knight f3,
knight
was
f3,
played.
yeah, just back.
and now it's black to play. Can black capture the pawn now?
Yeah, I think knight c3
But
is
there's
probably
queen
queen
a3
a3.
Queen a3, and what happens after rook c2? There is a beautiful line, knight e1.
Yeah,
So the knight is pinned.
yeah,
The only
yeah. You don't
piece
want to
that
play
can
rook
come
c.
to help this.
Can we show
poor knight.
both pins, because the queen is pinning the knight to
Yeah.
the rook, and there's a sideways pin, and you know this will definitely be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, yeah. But after knight f3, queen c4 was played.
Yeah, has to play queen c4, and I think black is trying to just like blockade it and you know try to stop it.
Yeah.
But now that the white queen is alive, maybe queen d7 is. He will have to do something, because I don't know, but you know again knight c3 is the threat here.
Yeah.
So what did he play? Did he play?
He played queen c4, and now it's white to play. White is still thinking.
Okay.
Shall we go to check the Adiban's game?
Absolutely.
To show our followers what is happening there. The game was going Adiban's favor, and after queen h6 in the game it was played king g8, not king f7.
Okay.
It was followed by rook d8,
Yeah.
queen d8, and bishop d3. Simple.
Yeah, this is what we were
Yeah.
we were talking about this, and can we explain to you know that the knight on a5 is completely out of play now.
Yeah, it's doing
And-
nothing
and
here.
Despite being a piece up, it's white who's dictating the attack, and bishop f5 is literally forced. But can we show our viewers move like e5? What happens for e5? I'm sure there will be some mate.
Checkmate, right? Probably starting with the
Bishop h7 check.
or even queen h7.
Yeah,
knight
queen
g6,
h7, king f8, knight g6, king e8,
queen g8, king d7, and queen,
then bishop f5
yeah.
finishes. Yeah, no. This
Yeah.
is correct. Beautiful,
This is
beautiful.
the-
mate. Yeah, queen g8, and then
And
king.
then queen f7,
Yeah, queen f7 is
Yeah.
pretty strong. Yeah,
queen e7, and checkmate.
yeah.
So it doesn't work. Very nice calculation, very nice line. But that's why black has to block it.
Yeah, and then
This
I think it's
diagonal will
basically giving the piece back now,
Yeah.
because queen g5 check should be played now. Oh,
Knight
well, you played
E6
even
was
knight
played.
e6. Oh, brilliant move.
Threatening queen g7 checkmate. And what happens after? Yeah, it was played in the game. Bishop e6 was played.
Yeah, bishop e6. I think he might play queen e6, queen e3.
And queen e3. And
Yeah,
now he
and then
just
now
has
there's
to-
this same problem of the knight on a5, and-
one extra pawn.
and this g pawn might walk up, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah, if the g pawn wakes up, it's going to be end of the story. And another pawn is lost.
Yeah.
It just grabs another pawn, so it's two
Yeah.
pawns now. And
It's-
g pawn woke up.
Yeah, I think you correctly pointed out once that bishop came to d3. And then, black's position just collapsed, isn't it?
Just black cannot do anything else.
Yeah.
You can feel the full power of the king being alone there.
And the knight on a5 will take so much time.
Black would wish to have this knight near the king, protecting it, but unfortunately it's not. Knight a5 was out of the game the whole game. And finally it tries to come into the game.
Yeah. So bishop e4 now, obviously can't play queen c5, and now I think it's just bishop c6 check,
another pawn,
and bishop e4 back. He just like creating like a fortress.
Yeah.
Everything is protected, and knight e4 is queen e4, and this queen endgame because the pawn on b3 is very weak. This is going to be a win, and now g5. I think that king g7 and then bishop f5. Now e5 is hanging. Yeah, like whatever.
Bishop e4.
Yeah, bishop e4. Just and then g6 e4. At the right time, I guess.
Next move is gonna be g6.
Possibly.
Queen is entering to h6.
Yeah, queen is entering as well.
So probably queen d6. Let's say.
Can I go? Okay, but you see, one more point we want to make to the viewer is the knight on c5 is under attack, and the queen can't really come in to try anything.
He has to play queen d6 to keep the knight alive, or just capture the pawn, but the bishop. But capturing the bishop is not going to help much because
I believe it's just queen takes e4.
White can capture with anything, and
then
queen c5.
every square is covered, and then you take on b3, hide the king. The pawn is going,
and it is lost. We can say it. Okay, queen d6 was played, and g6 is easy, I guess.
I think g6 may be. Maybe I think king g7, he would play king g7. g6, he will play king g7.
Let's check it out. Do I have queen d2 maybe?
Yeah. I think keeping the pawn on g5 makes sense for me because, that was covering f6 and h6. And, like you said that I'm just thinking that what does white need to do is to cover d4 square.
Queen c7 wants to be played.
Yeah, queen c7 is coming, but
it's not enough. It's not enough to fight back.
Yeah, because queen c7, I think maybe king b4.
Even.
King b4 is even.
Let's lose the fear, but there is queen b6.
Queen b6 and then king c4, yeah.
And king c4, and now the knight is pinned.
Yeah.
Well, we can say that we're going to have a result here probably very soon. But shall we go to other game where we had board number 9, Matlakov was having a little bit of a problem.
So we were talking about the problem of the d4 square and the e5 square. We're saying those are the two squares that black has to enter.
And I was trying to somehow bring the knight to e4.
Yeah.
Queen d4 and rook e4, and are they repeating? Wait, and black doesn't want to repeat the moves.
Yeah.
Okay, this is way interesting now.
So what's the rating difference? Could you see the rating difference?
Yes, it's 100.
So black is the higher rated player.
Black is the higher rated player. Yeah,
and
more 180. Okay.
Yeah,
180 something.
Yeah, so obviously he feels he can work, and then.
But now he's losing the d6 pawn, no?
Yeah, no, but first he needs to stop the d4 square. Yeah. Because
but
rook d6, knight e5, so much attacks will come. So first kick this rook out, and then
there was not rook f6.
He couldn't go to rook f6 because rook e7.
That's right. And what happens after rook f7?
I believe that.
Can white just repeat the position if black?
I think he can repeat the position, but also he can leave the rook on e6 now.
Yeah.
So even when you I forgot to mention to you, in the original position, maybe just go with your plan, knight c3.
Knight c3 looks good. Trying to bring the knight.
Yeah, he can't take on e6, can he? But he can take.
He can probably take and knight e5.
Knight e5. That's the problem. Yeah. Okay, so looks pretty much. We go back to the game that rook f7 was played, and rook d6. Rook d6 is knight e5. Yeah,
So black sacrificed the pawn, but gets the c4 pawn. No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
and I think now knight g4 is the move, I believe that,
Rook
or
f4 was
even rook
played.
f4
Just
with
grabs
idea.
the c4 pawn.
Yeah, but
Because this pawn loss might be, well, white is also playing.
yeah,
Knight c4, rook d7, bishop c8, rook a7, and knight d6. Rook a7, rook f7, rook f7, rook f7, and
this played in the game.
yeah, this was played in the game.
Okay, okay.
And
But
this is our
what
turn.
black is saying here is that your two pawns are isolated,
Yeah,
and if rook f7 happens, the king is faster towards the center.
yeah.
And if we go a few moves back, we
Okay.
just need to demonstrate that white doesn't need to play rook d6. I thought that he need
Here.
not play rook d6. I think that's not running anywhere. You know, if
Maybe
ra-
knight g3,
maybe f4,
knight
f4,
d4.
f4, f4 was my plan, because now knight d5 is possible still because of the pin. But
Yeah.
then
But
I
is
thought
there a
that
move like b5 maybe?
b5 is also coming here. So many breaks. That's why.
b5, rook d6, let's say. Can we check it out? I still have knight d5.
Yeah, knight d5.
Yeah.
No, it looks a bit trickier. And, the Grandmaster obviously made
Yeah,
the right
they-
decision to play on.
Yeah.
And
they are. Both of them are grandmasters. So this is our final position. Rook a8 was played in the game.
yeah,
And
what I feel here in this position is that white has to keep the rooks,
yeah,
because at least with the rooks he can put the rook on b8 and kind of control.
yeah,
And his king is, the white king is not in the game. Okay, so and there's a back rank weakness. And ideally the bishop on d3 and the knight on c1 and all needs to activate.
yeah.
And so I think that trading rooks is definitely not the right thing.
Yeah. So what to play with the black pieces now?
I think black has to go king g7. I think,
King g7.
king g7.
The knight is very well located in front of the board.
It's
pawn.
blockading,
Yeah.
Nimzowitsch.
Nimzowitsch in my system.
Blockade
yeah.
the pawn with the knight. And, one of my first books I read was My System.
Same me.
And it was like a novel for me.
Yes.
He's talking about this being, like the pass pawn is like a criminal. You need to lock him up. And here we see.
Till now, for my students, when they're like, which book shall I read first? And
My
I'm
System.
Like, so which My System? It's out of question. It's the first book you need to read.
Yeah.
And so what are your predictions? Is it going to end in a draw, or it is going to...
No, black is obviously going to push, because after king g7,
yeah.
he's got the c4. Okay, if we can highlight the d5 and the a3 pawn, and this is white's problem.
Yeah.
If any one of them drops, then he's a pawn up.
Mm-hmm.
And also black is dictating which piece he might want to exchange, because there is the threat of bishop b7 and followed by bishop into d5.
Yeah.
And also you can see the connectivity between the knight, the rook, and the bishop.
Yeah.
They are very well interconnected, and that's why I think. But there is a time control raging. White has
It
got
was
4
played king g7, a4.
a4. Yeah, he's got
Is
a.
c4 happening here?
I think c4 might be a bit early, because why disturb the unit? But first let's put the bishop in a good square.
If bishop e7, rook d8 will be followed.
Yeah,
and
rook
then
d.
rook f6.
Yeah.
Rook d7, maybe king h6. Am
No,
I
rook
winning a
d8.
pawn?
Then he has got rook d7 check, so he shouldn't
Yeah,
move the
yeah.
bishop as well. No,
Maybe
he should-
slowly. King f6.
Yeah, king
Let's bring
f6,
the
king e5, king d4.
e5. This looks good.
Yeah.
But white's next move is going to be a5.
Yeah, maybe when the pawn comes to a5, there is a c4,
And then b5.
Yeah, and then b5. Maybe that's like the connected pawns might
Yeah.
do the trick there.
So king f6. King f6 looks pretty good here.
Yeah, because you can see the knight on c1. I don't know anything with it. It's going to get in the way, and this king should be ideally somewhere in e1
Yeah.
to be of any relevance. And black is thinking here, and like you pointed out, he wouldn't give rook d8.
Yeah. Well,
And so exciting here. I agree. I think king f6 looks very ambitious. because once the king comes to e5, then the four pieces become a team. King on e5 protects the knight on d6. Knight on d6 can protect the bishop and the rook.
Everything is in harmony. In the black's position is in the harmony. White's pieces are here, there, and pawns are here, there. But black's pieces, everything is protecting each other, opening the road for the king to enter to the center. And this is
also, have
easy
you
to
heard
play with the
about
black pieces.
that aspiring grandmasters?
Yeah.
In some countries, I heard through my sources that part of them is how to handle the clock, how to handle the pressure, and keep a cool head. And that's one of the skills is not taught in any books.
Yes. You have to have a stainless nerves.
Yeah, you have to have you believe in your calculation
to go with it.
I don't know. Even c4 looks. I think c4, bishop c2.
Yeah.
I think that c4, bishop c2, king f6 looks. Rook b8 is the threat. Sorry. So
rook b8 wants to be
rook
played,
b8
but then
is
bishop
coming.
e7.
So rook b8 is
some
coming.
were played, by the way. King f6, a4, king f6.
Yes, we got it right. Well done.
Yeah. We're guessing the grandmaster's moves.
And sometimes they say that you're playing in the game. There are emotions in play.
Yeah.
You're outside, and
No, and outside you also have the same emotions when they are playing because.
So this king e5 is coming in, which is, and you see white's got 3.5 minutes roughly.
Yeah.
And he's got problems to solve, and this is the kind of position you shouldn't be playing.
Yeah. It's very hard to play with the white pieces. You have to make choices, and it's hard to find moves because black's game is easy. I attack d5 pawn, I bring my bishop, I push my pawns. Plan is very, very simple. For the black, okay, what to do, where to do. We go to the board number 10 because you remember the queen was trapped, and let's see what happened in the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know what is happening here, a lot of stuff happened. We stopped at this position and g4 was played, queen e5 and bishop c3. Queen f4, bishop d2, queen e5, bishop c3, queen f4. And white decided not to repeat the position, but because it's understandable. Black had way less time.
Yeah.
And then he plays e3, bishop c3. We check this line, by the way. Check takes and queen e5. We have been here.
And then knight queen d2 followed by knight d5.
f5, f4.
Yeah.
But black's queen is already free, and after black's queen freed, apparently black started playing very fast, because.
We predicted that the knight will have to land on d5.
Yeah.
It's all coming very nicely. I think that white is clearly better because e4 is very tempting, but
rook c4, rook c8, rook c1, takes, queen h4.
It's just control, isn't it? It just wants to control everything. And this is how grandmasters play. It's just control.
Yeah.
And then now put the pawn on b4, fix that. e4 break is always there. So this is what happened in the game. I think white's doing.
Looks equal for now, but let's see how far white is going to push here. a4, knight d4, b4, g5, and f5. This is a position, and black has more time right now.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole game, there was a difference of almost 1 hour in the time.
Yeah.
But now, black has way more time. It's 13 minutes against 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And white is even playing faster.
Yeah,
but
black is better here because of, I think one of the key things here is that we need to point out to the viewers that if you take the e5 pawn, probably d6 and bishop b7, and then that the a pawn becomes a thing. But I feel that white let the grip of this game, isn't it?
Yeah. But white, I think, could play better at some point. I think they just let
at some point, black managed to get back.
But black outplayed white, and now we have he has what he has.
So here I think we can show the viewers d takes e5.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that
d6
is forced take. Bishop takes b7, and I think that
the pawns are
this danger.
Bishop d5, also b7. The pawns are just walking to a queen.
Yep, it's is very. I think knight b4. I'm just looking at knight b4 here. Knight b4 is a5, isn't it? No, knight b4. I want
Knight b4.
Knight d4 makes.
Why not knight d4? Because I want to stop a5. But
Yeah.
okay, bishop a6. Just
Bishop a6, a5,
a5,
b6. Yeah, this is.
Okay, bishop b7, knight b4. Can I just play a5 again?
Yeah, if you are coming for that trick,
Yeah,
a6.
I want a6, b6.
Yeah.
But there might be knight a6.
Unstoppable.
Let's say a move, king f6. Okay, a6.
Yeah, and then b6 is coming.
And then
You can't do anything.
yeah, but
So
this is my idea. I want to play h5. And if you play b6, I want it to take knight a6.
Yeah, ba7, you know.
Yeah, ba7 and knight c7.
Yeah, and I believe this one.
This has to be winning. Like even queen, bishop e4 doesn't
Yeah,
work.
bishop b4.
Maybe just king g3 here. And
Yeah, I can play. But there's one interesting point is that instead of moving the knight, if we go back, instead of moving the knight, can black king start coming into play? Saying
yeah,
when you
like,
took b7.
Yeah, here. King e7,
Yeah.
right? a5.
Yeah, the problem we want to show to the viewers is there's the f pawn is also
There is
equally
also
dangerous.
another pawn. a5, king d7 and a6 or f6. Which one you want?
I believe f6 is better.
It's
So
like-
you know, for the amateur
you can,
player.
Yeah,
this-
you can have fun here. You know which one? Okay, here, there, whatever I push, probably.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so you know, hopefully, guys, you know, you've seen that, you know, not every pawn is free.
Yes, exactly. Not
Okay.
every pawn, especially this pawn wasn't
This
free.
pawn. So that's why I think wasn't taken, and I think what black is saying to.
Black is thinking it.
Yeah, black wants him to play e6 is the worst move,
Yeah.
because after king f6, I think
The
that.
bishop, after every move, I can be like adjust the white bishop
Yeah.
to show like how it is out of the game. Well, white will not play e6, of course, but how can black try to push it?
I'm just thinking maybe we should play knight b4 first.
Knight d4, knight b3, knight c5 maybe?
Yeah, that's also, but again, what am I doing on c5, you know? Yeah, maybe, yeah. No, with knight b4, I was threatening knight d3, knight c5. And,
Yeah, knight a3 was playing.
I see even, yeah.
Knight c4, wants to push e6.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the way. This is the way. And after pushing e6, the king will just enter to e5.
yeah.
And it's gonna be
So we have a few more moves here in this one. What
not
happened?
yet. It's knight a2. We can move to another game.
We can move to another game.
Yeah. Is there any preparations to go to?
Adiban, he finished, isn't it? I just
we
want
can check
interested
it
to
out.
see. Well,
Yeah, he finished. Wait, what? White shows the black one. Queen d6, bishop d3, queen c7, bishop c4.
oh no.
No! No way!
That must be a biggest blunder, isn't it? We were saying,
Impossible!
see, we were saying king b4. You know, that's
We
what,
said that there is queen c7, that the king has to go to
Yeah,
b4,
this-
but this is so painful. This is so painful.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, and you know, this is what, you know, I think once, you know, you remember Adiban hit all this 2650 level,
Yeah.
and then something happened, and I think this will give him sleepless nights.
This
Not
is going to
very
give
nice.
me sleepless night.
Yeah. Commentators won't get
Yes, like-
night sleep after watching.
I can't
such a
believe I
horror.
was watching a beautiful game. Throughout
Yeah.
the whole game, Adiban goes brilliantly. He gets the advantage.
It's just like, you know,
he explodes
self-made,
the
you know.
king.
It's
Yeah,
like, you know,
self-made,
there's
yeah,
one move. Is it
cooperative
one move that
champion, yeah.
loses? Bishop c4 is from plus to.
This is unbelievable. This is
So
unbelievable.
what was wrong with, I think,
King b4.
King b4 is what we said, you know.
Yeah.
We're still happy with this because
Yeah,
the
that's
point we are
another-
making is that if
Okay, maybe there are some.
there's something,
Perpetual
let's see
checks
what
or-
else can need to be played. Is it just king d2 needs
Maybe
to be
king
played?
d2. Just king d2. Too
I
many
think king
pawns.
d2 keeps the edge because, you know, you get out of the way and then there is even queen a5 check. You just go, king e2
king
and
e2, and the king is hiding behind the bishop and the queen. But this is so painful. It's like he played the whole game so brilliant, and blundering a checkmate in one move. This has to be
So this is very famous saying that even grandmasters will have that spot of blindness. That's what happened here.
the spot of
And
blindness.
when he played bishop c4, I don't know if somebody were watching that, whether black snatched queen f5 or some chess players
they
just
will
sit
be
back and let the other guy
realize what will happen soon.
be in pressure.
But some guys will be like,
Yeah.
checkmate.
But even if bishop c4, I don't see any point. What are you threatening?
He saw that there is a discovery check coming.
Yeah, knight a5 check.
Yeah, knight a4, probably he was scared
Yeah.
to. But but seriously, even
So
if
king
discovery
d2.
check.
No,
what is
king
the-
d2, and then if you go knight a4, I have queen e5. No, king
not
d2,
here.
knight a4, and I
this
think
has to be also winning, like g6 maybe.
yeah, g6 looks very nice.
Maybe even f4. Not here, not here.
Not
I
yet.
wanted to play g6, let's say king g7 and f4.
Yeah. Also, you can go queen e4, and then knight b2. You have queen b4 check, queen b3. But again, that becomes complicated. But let's see what's the trick here. What's the trick here?
What was he scared of?
What was he?
Maybe he had 4 minutes. Maybe he was like, okay, I will play fast. I will save some time for myself just to finish the game when the time comes.
But here, I think g6, knight b2, queen h6 check. Let's go into that line, and then knight b2, and then queen h6 check.
I will just exchange the queens and play king c3.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Let's say king g8.
Yeah.
I can just play queen h7,
Yeah.
captures,
check.
and you cannot even capture on h7.
Yeah.
Let's say king g7 and king c3.
Yeah, king c3.
The king is in the box. Let's say knight d3. I can
King
capture.
d3. Yeah.
I will take b3, and the pawn will be like,
No
hurrah.
need to even touch the
Yeah.
b3 pawn. Just a4 is going. King is outside the
Just-
box.
But
So sometimes a threat becomes special. And
when you're scared of something, it
Yeah.
becomes real. The Murphy's law, right?
yeah.
But this is I feel sorry for Adiban. This game was
yeah,
played
we
so
would.
well.
Anybody would.
Yeah.
After playing a fantastic game, just blundering.
All the game he played the clean game. Everything was
Even,
beautifully done.
I believe at some point, every chess player goes under a lot of turmoil when they've lost a game, and they have to find a way to bounce back.
Yeah, I hope he will recover after this. I hope he will manage to recover.
Yeah.
But I remember I was talking before with Levon Aronian,
Yeah.
Armenian grandmaster, and he was always telling us, when you lose one game, no matter how you lost it, the next game you go and try to do everything to win the next game.
Yeah.
And this is the way. And
Yeah,
I always remember it in my mind. It doesn't matter. It's this kind of a game or it was painful or it was clear game where your opponent was way stronger than you that you lost. The next game you do everything to win the game. But that's what the character is built with.
In the chess player's mind, you
Yeah.
can see that this is going to be in his head for quite some time.
Oh yeah, this is
How he comes out of it is
This
thing.
is going to be
Because from completely winning position and
in one move, in only one move. Imagine and it's not
you
like
know.
you get lost position where you
Yeah.
can fight yet.
Yeah.
It's a checkmate, and
it's
it's
just
game over.
unbelievable checkmate in one move was played.
Yeah, the king on c3 is checkmated.
Okay,
Incredible.
let's move to a game. We could never have predicted that this was going to happen.
Yeah, because I was like, maybe it was written the wrong result. I saw 0-1, and then I open and I see, okay, let's see what happened. Maybe they put the kings in the wrong position. And then after seeing this, you understand that this is pretty possible, actually.
Yeah. I think that it's just a horrible move.
Yeah.
His intentions were right, but he just missed queen a5 check.
Yeah. He was concentrated on, and we have another result on the board, number 8.
Okay.
So after queen c4 in this game, rook a1 was played, rook e8, and apparently rook e8, rook f1. Rook fc1, rook c8, and queen c2.
Yeah, and I think here what's happened is the rooks have, if you go a few moves back, the rooks were out, and then now the rooks are ideally placed now.
The f1 rook is
The
doing
F1
nothing.
rook
The c1 rook
came
is
into-
passively protecting the pawn on c3, and then rook is on a1. The rook is on c1
A1,
from f1.
yeah.
And the most important play here, it was okay. White is 2 pawns up. Also, the white squares are very weak, and the queen and the knight together, they're gonna just like.
So
Rook e8, queen f5, knight c4.
yeah,
Rook a8, rook a8, knight h4.
knight h4, and now there's a lot of possibilities here that I believe that queen g6 and knight f5 looks interesting for me.
You want to sacrifice somewhere on h6?
H6, and if my bishop can come alive, because see what can black do here? Black has got. So if we go queen g6 and knight g6 check is just go king g8. I think your knights are misplaced.
Queen g6.
Yeah, queen g6, attack the rook. The rook is defended, but my threat is knight f5. What do you do here? So queen g6, knight e7
queen
is
d7?
yeah, queen d7 and then knight f5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could I also play knight e7 maybe here?
Yeah, knight e7. Then I was planning queen
f7.
Queen f7.
Yeah. Maybe with the idea of rook
Yeah,
e1.
rook e1 next move possibly.
But white is 2 pawns up. White just went for probably like.
Yeah.
Knights are blocking it, but sooner or later they will have
Yeah.
to give it up. But queen g6, of course, it works.
Yeah, and you can see that the 2 pawns, they have to be kept in check.
Yeah.
Because even if you allow one of the pawns to move forward, it's going to be really tricky.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so in the game it was played knight g6 check, king g8, knight f4, knight c7, queen g6, queen g5, queen d3, knight d6.
And now, the
pawn started. And the pawn
starts
started.
to roll. This must be really.
This is what you were waiting for, right? The pawns
Yeah.
the
I think that
blockading pieces are pushed out.
The knight g6 check and then the knight on f4.
Yeah.
I think that dislodged the blockade.
Yeah.
Because knight g6 check and knight f4. There's a pin. He couldn't even play rook d8 because of various attacks.
But then doesn't exchange the queens, and now it's time for queen g6.
Yeah, forcing queen g5.
Queen g5, queen d3, and everyone is out.
Yeah.
Even queen b5 was
Can we
impossible
point out to
because
our viewers that queen b5 won't work because
queen
now
b5, rook b1,
d5 juggernaut. Rook
You want to
b1
play
is there,
d5?
but d5
Let's
juggernaut
go.
begins, and then
Let's go.
you have to worry about various things
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. I also wanted to play rook b1, rook b4.
Yeah,
Again, push out this knight
yeah,
from
push
this
the knight
blockading
out,
square.
get the blockade done.
Yeah.
Again, Nimzowicz, isn't it? Remove the blockade, the pawns start rolling.
c4 was played, knight e6, h4, knight f4, and queen f3, and after this, black just resigned.
He's got no moves now.
He tried to block the pawns as long as he could, but at some point, eventually, the pieces had to leave the squares, and this happened.
I think here, the kind of move I'm thinking is queen f5 or queen a4, and then I think that queen a5 should be played.
Yeah.
And I think that just bishop f4, and then the bishop becomes alive, and
Bishop also get, and the pawns, as you said, it's you cannot stop these pawns. They're gonna walk like.
Why would you resign? I mean, in my opinion, okay, yes, you got not the best positions, and then
Yeah, but it's 2 pawns still.
two pawns up, but I think
you can still try to put some.
Yeah. So bishop. If I went queen a5, you're going to play bishop f4, dislodging the knight, and then knight e4, and then just I think this is why he was not very happy. c5 even.
Yeah.
The c5 with the idea of c6 and many things happening here. Even now this bishop on g3 was not alive.
I'll just push the pawn to
yes,
c7.
I'm talking about that. Even for perspective, he can put the bishop on e3. Everything is safe, and he can continue the game at leisure.
No, but it might be actually not a bad idea to resign, because still like 3 rounds to go, and it's already round 6. More than half of the tournament is passed.
Why?
And he wants to save some energy,
Yes.
Sooner or later he will lose this position. He's playing but against the grandmaster. But okay, I mean, in Adiban's game, how the opponent was still fighting.
Yeah.
It's like everything is possible. Your opponent
But
is a human being.
I think we can say the difference in Adiban's game, and that that some element of risk was there.
with the b2 pawn and the
Yeah.
knight jumping. Still, knight and the queen together are
Yeah,
playing much
yeah.
better. But here,
So this is done. So any other game?
yes,
that is-
Matlakov's game. Let's see what is happening there.
Yeah.
And looks like the game will. What happened in the game? Well, we stopped at this moment. A4, king f6, bishop a6, rook e7, king f1, captures, knight c4.
Yeah.
Now threatening knight d2, rook e1 checkmate. Knight b3 was played, king e5, and a5, and knight a5 just takes and wow. Okay, and then he went to this
Bizarre.
equal pawn position where they have a passed pawn.
Pass pawn, yeah.
Rook e3, and this is our current position. Most probably the game will. The game actually ended already. No, not yet. Yeah, it ended. The game ended. We don't have the result yet, but
Okay.
looks
But
like
it looks like, it's a tricky win for, black to do anything. It's three
Yeah.
pawn against 3 pawn. And,
the king is in front of the pawn. This is an important.
Yeah, the king is blockading him.
Yeah.
But he's threatening rook a2 check, isn't it? What happened here? You don't
After
have the
king
moves.
d5. Yeah. Okay. We'll wait here. We'll wait here. Let's see if there is another game like Suleimanov. If this game is also still.
This is the
happening.
game we were
Yeah.
talking about knights and
Yeah,
things.
yeah, and you see so many things happened here. Well, okay, so
So e5. So
we got here f5,
Yeah.
e3, e6.
I think he went to our plan, isn't it? We
Yeah.
were talking about
e6
this.
was
Yeah, e6
forced.
is the move you should not play. Yeah, yeah. No, but he was worried about knight c4. You see.
yeah, knight c4, of
Yeah.
course.
So
Anyways, white's pawn was going to be pushed to e6, so he was like, okay, I'll just push it now and see what's gonna happen later. 3 knight c4, king d4, knight e5. So many weaknesses. b6 was played.
yeah, this is. I don't know why he panicked here with b6. I think bishop h3 is okay, no? But
Actually, this game already finished.
yeah, I know. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. So captures bishop h3 and h5. I just saw the result. That's why black
Yeah.
won the game. G takes on
Yeah.
h5 and g4.
Yeah, he's getting
It's,
all the
uh,
extra.
Wow.
Yeah.
After he just needed to free his queen, and then everything was so easy. King g7. Okay. After king g7, the game continued. Let me find a moment.
I think.
The game continued quite a few moves, and then they
Yeah,
ended.
I think here the main issue for white is that he's got a bishop and the pawns are all on dark colors, and all black has to worry about not losing the e7 pawn.
Yeah.
And I think this is skillful play.
So well done by black pieces. Suleimanov won a beautiful game. Lately he got another pawn. The king came, and white couldn't stop the two passed pawns at the same time. And also we have apparently a result on the board number 9, and it was Matlakov. This game ended in a draw.
Yeah.
And we basically finished 10 boards, and
Yeah.
almost all of the boards finished. I think we have one game that we didn't get the live, and it was Pranav against Aptin, and that game was also. Okay, we have it. So we have a lot of draws, and then starting from the board 8, the results started.
Yeah,
And-
and just to kind of give a summary of the day,
Yeah.
I think top boards played it safely.
Yes.
Energy, they wanted the energy to be conserved, so they are ready for battle in the last 2 rounds.
Yes.
We could see a lot of interesting battles in the rounds, and
Yeah.
I think that the biggest shock was
Adiban's game was
Adiban's
the
game.
biggest
Yeah,
shock.
it's
And usually I don't go to the further boards, but today I decided to check Adiban's game because the game got my
always,
attention.
when this kind of live show,
Yeah.
you have to go and find interesting
It
things.
got
even-
my attention, and then I was like, yeah, today we're checking this game. This game is amazing. And then eventually I saw it, and
Yeah.
yeah, this was the biggest shock of the day. But the rest of them were the games were, we can say, like nothing strange happened.
Yeah, I think top 3-4 boards played
Yeah.
it safe, and interestingly, when I was speaking between these two Indian chess players,
Yeah.
Pranav was playing with this guy who's going for the Ratnavel, and
Yep.
they were discussing, and I think Pranav was voicing that there wasn't nothing much he could do. His play was
Yeah,
super
yeah.
solid, and
Let's show the game here so that
Yeah.
you see. Yeah, and the game ended in a draw. Well, what to say? We are going to the last 3 rounds of the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival 2023, and everything is yet to come.
yeah, to come.
We have
Lot to
them-
play for.
a
Lot
lot-
to play for. And is it fair comment to say there's been a big fight in all the boards? Majority
We'll
of the
see,
boards, yeah.
Yesterday there was a big fight. There was a
Yeah.
peaceful day. We can say today was a peaceful day. And thank you, Ravi, for joining me today. And it was absolutely my pleasure, and I'm sure our viewers enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
And hope to see you tomorrow too.
Yeah, hopefully tomorrow we'll join,
Yeah.
and we had a good show today. I think
Yes.
we were predicting all the grandmaster moves. That was the good
Absolutely.
part, and we were assessing positions very nice,
Yes.
and
yes.
then yeah.
The-
So
Thank you very much. And for our viewers, tomorrow, same time, we're going to be in the same place. And see you tomorrow. Our pleasure. Goodbye.